and blues. We're live, we're loud, under one sky. From Kingston to stateside, we unify. UEFA giants in the fold, 12 titans bold. Chelsea and City, red of Real's gold. PSG, Bayern, Inter, the Serie A calls. Porto, Benfica, Dortmund standing tall. Juventus, Atletico, Salzburg joins the spree. European champions chasing victory. It's a worldwide clash, one dream tonight. 32 clubs meet the stadium lights. From Copa to Champions, MLS to Jelly League, we roar as one, come on, let's wreck each. Chelsea's heart, blues unite. Six South American crews, pride runs deep. Palmeiras roars, Flamengo never sleeps. Fluminense, Botafogo by the riverside. River Plate, Boca, historic ride. CONCACAF heat, Monterrey and Seattle rise. Pachuca LFC, watch the Eagles' cries. Host Inter Miami, bringing Messi's grace. South Florida magic, on global chase. 4 AFC powerhouses, Desert City, Seoul, Japan. Al Hilal, Urawa, Al Ain San's clan. Africa's finest ride on gold-dusted sands. Al Ali, Wydad, Esperance, sundown stand. One island in the sea, Auckland's pride. From oceanic waves, a Pacific stride. 32 flags, one stadium glow. It's a worldwide clash, one dream tonight. Every chant and cheer, forging football's light. One goal, one trophy, one moment in time. Let's make history, hear the anthems chime. Chelsea's heart, blues unite. Live streams on Dazen's bright screen. From Miami, Philly, Jersey scene, we hear the roar, expect the cheers. Club World Cup, the future's here. Blue hearts blazing here in USA. Chelsea pride, football's grand ballet.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the Chelsea Sessions channel. I want to thank each and every one of you who is already tuning in. It says 4 people are watching right now. Much appreciation to you. I am joined here, of course, with the World Cup dreamer, Jerry Z, as we look to preview the Club World Cup 2025. So, how are you doing, Jerry?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful afternoon here in Scotland and UK, man. Summers are here finally. Hopefully, it will remain for some time. Yes, man. Today got off earlier from work and was lucky that I was in the queue of a lot of top panelists that you have, but somehow because of availability, I was chosen for this show. So I'm very, very grateful and lucky to be a part, of course, again, of Chelsea Sessions. It's difficult to cut it over here with the competition and great high level analysts. So yes, very excited. Club World Cup, man. Seriously, it's for me second biggest tournament in outside the league, if that makes sense. Outside any league, it's the second biggest tournament. Of course, for me, Champions League is the biggest, and then Club World Cup. Yes, a lot of fans may say like level of competition may not be there maybe in the initial stage, but if we see most of the top teams, especially with the new format, are there. Yes, FC Barcelona perhaps is, I'm sure a lot of fans will agree, is a huge miss, but we know they have a different way to, you know, they had a different way to put all these teams together, which is kind of complex, but it is what it is. FC Barcelona, yes, is missing, but we do have, in my opinion, most of the top European teams. And not just European, of course, I mentioned because they definitely have done well. They have better leagues, better finance, but we have top teams from different parts of the world, which we will definitely discuss over here. So I think this is a great competition. Of course, we are Chelsea fans, but we'll focus on, try to focus on different things over here. And as a Chelsea fan, I'm sure, Tyrone, you and I are both excited. A big leap now from Conference League to the Club World Cup. And this is where the excitement begins for me, Tyrone.
Okay, so thank you very much. We'll discuss all of this and more right after this little intermission. We'll be right back. All right, so we are obviously going to be discussing the Club World Cup. As we said earlier, and as Jerry has mentioned, it's not just the European giants. And also, if you tuned in at the beginning, you would have heard the background music discussing the different teams and the different areas of the world that they are from. So, as you can see here, and as Jerry mentioned, we have different teams, and one of the greatest teams in the different aspects of the world, in the world of football there. So we're just going to be discussing group by group briefly the different teams that will be in the 8 groups there. So 4 teams, 8 groups, 32 teams. So at the end of the day, we'll be discussing that. So let me put us back into the frame, see if I can do this. Okay, I think I need to change the layout. But yeah. Yeah, that's not right there. Okay, cool. This is in full screen again. All right, a little bit of technical difficulties, but right. So, Jerry, we will start with the first group here, Group A, and it's Palmeiras, Porto, Al Ahly, and Inter Miami. And this, the last 2 teams that are listed in the group there are actually some top options, to be fair, because they will be starting the competition off on Saturday, which is tomorrow. If anybody watching this on Saturday, of course, we're doing this on the 13th of June, and the competition will begin on the 14th of June. So at the time of recording, Saturday. So a very important thing to note, first of all, is that the tournament will begin on Saturday, the 14th of June, with Inter Miami playing Al Ahly, and that fixture will kick off it will kickstart the month-long festival of football, which will involve clubs from 20 different countries. That is the key thing. 20 different countries will be taking part in this competition. So, Jerry, let's start off with Group A. Uh, I'm sure you would have heard of Porto, Palmeiras, and all of that. You would have perhaps heard of them. So share with us what you do know about Porto, particularly, and I'll discuss Palmeiras. We'll do it alternatively.
Yeah, of course we know Porto, top team in Portugal, of course. Who can forget Jose Mourinho winning the Champions League in 2004 with Porto? So, but of course, we know Sporting Lisbon have been more dominant in recent times, but Porto is a good shout out, over here. So you said we'll touch two teams, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we will talk about the different teams alternatively. So I said you do Porto, I'll do Palmeiras.
Yeah, yeah. So I think Porto has a really good chance in this tournament. They can be the dark horses in my opinion because they are. I won't say lucky, but you can say that they are. You can say they have the luxury. Let's put it this way: to have an easier group to begin with, so they can make the round of 16. And from there, of course, if they can top this group, which I think they will, so they can perhaps get an easier fixture in round of 16. And from there on, they can be a dark horse. They have good defense. So again, like if you see, they have not been the very, very best in Portugal. So, but again, new tournament, another opportunity for Porto to make a comeback with additional signings. So yes, maybe I revealed way too early. So one of the dark horses, let's put it this way, Porto, Taron.
That's interesting. Well, yeah, no, you've mentioned some key info there. I mean, Porto, in terms of what they've done on the European scene, it goes without question that they have a lot of historical moments, of course, and of course they are one of the top favorites for of course, from their group. And as you rightfully said, I have to say I agree with you. I think they're one of the dark horses because the competition, the positive thing there is that it's diversified. As I said earlier, it's 20 different countries having teams representing them. So of course, with Porto, we know that the Portuguese league, so not just Porto, but focusing mostly on Porto now, of course, from the Portuguese league, you're aware of the fact that they have done things in the Champions League due to the fact of them doing so well in the Portuguese league as well, winning it and also getting their accolades there and growing those accolades. It has furthered their opportunities of playing in this competition. And in the inaugural, phase of this, or the fixture and the development of this competition, it stems from that as well. So yeah, I have to say I agree with you. I do believe that Porto will be one of the dark horses. They're not the out and right favorites. We'll of course discuss all of that later down in the stream, but of course it is important that in discussing Porto, we bear in mind that they are going to be one of the dark horses because of what they have proven to be in the past and historically. So thank you very much, Jerry. Do you want to add anything else before I move on to speaking about Palmeiras?
Yeah, so with Porto, of course, last two seasons they have been like underperformed, you can say, especially in the league. You're right, playing in the Champions League, trying to. Sporting Lisbon has been fantastic. One thing is that, and I said defense. The defense of Porto is really good, very compact. It's just like they goal scoring. They lacked the goal scoring. Their striker was injured, so maybe like it's an opportunity for them to come back again because generally they are a top side. And I haven't, of course, looked into their signings, but I'm sure they will add to their squad. And as you can say, historically and at present, even though they finished third this season, but they still have like all the, you can say, ingredients. They have the players, and they can only improve from here. They are here. They have been knocking on the door in the Champions League, making quarterfinals consistently in the last 5 years, 2-3 times. Beating Arsenal, beating Manchester United. So they are a good team, but in the league they have been inconsistent. So that's a question mark. But again, I haven't seen all the Porto games. You see what I mean? So I don't know. Is it something that they really are missing some key signings, or is it the way that they play, because it's sometimes too defensive? So, but for the knockout tournament, it works. Especially I always believe that for a knockout tournament you need a strong defense, because a 1-0 can be enough most of the times, right? So yes, Porto, I think, are a dark horse. It will be interesting to see their progress, Tyrone.
All right, and I agree with you. I believe the same. I do believe that that is the case. So let's quickly give the microphone to the chat. So Ray here is saying, let's go. Big up to you, Ray. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for leaving a comment as well. And of course, the infamous Poggy is also here saying, exciting show, let's go. So welcome, Poggy. I thank you for tuning in. And it doesn't end there, as Poggy, who is on a roll, has gifted yet another membership. And looking on YouTube, because I had to open YouTube to see who got gifted that membership, it says that Loudmouth Football. I believe he's a Liverpool fan. We've come across each other a few times, and of course, I know he subscribes to the channel because that is how it works. But big up to him. I'm not sure if he'll be notified about it anytime soon, so you can express his gratitude to Poggy. But nevertheless, thank you very much, Poggy, for yet another donation. The donations do go a long way, and I really do appreciate it. I must thank you very much for making these donations, and hopefully, maybe one day, if you're open to it, we can have you on the channel. You never know. If you're okay with it, of course.
Yes, Tyrone, that's a great idea. I was thinking you can request Puggy, and I'm sure she can add to the analysis. And thank you, Puggy, for being very supportive of the channel. It means a lot to the community, to Chelsea Sessions, and to Tyrone. Yeah, you are most welcome to share your thoughts.
100%, I agree. And with a person like that, you'd have to express your gratitude, because there's no way else that I can really show my appreciation and gratitude, rather than to let them have even a bigger role on the channel in terms of coming on and giving their thoughts. And of course, that will happen going forward. Persons that have been around the channel long enough and all of that, they'll get that opportunity. It won't be a common thing, but whenever it does happen, of course, we'll ensure that takes place. But thanks once more, Puggy, for that gifted membership. It will go a long way for that individual as well, and of course for the channel as we continue to try to grow in 2025. So let's move on to Palmeiras. Of course, Palmeiras is the first team that is listed in the group. But of course, giving Jerry the opportunity to express his thoughts on Porto, of course, I will just discuss Palmeiras. Then we'll go to the last two teams that are in the group, because that is going to be interesting. And I have a key insight to share with each and every one of you, especially Jerry as well, about that first fixture that will be taking place, and that will start the Club World Cup competition on Saturday. So Palmeiras will be one of the teams to represent CONMEBOL. I probably butchered it, but CONMEBOL and Brazil at the inaugural FIFA Club World Cup 2025, of course, as we've said before. And of course, with that league, of course, the winners in 2021, Abel Ferreira's Ovedaro, are hungry for more and eager to show what they can do on a global stage. So, of course, they got qualification based on the fact that they won the Copa Libertadores in 2021. So that is what FIFA is doing. They're using the accolades that the teams have had in the last 45 years to ensure that they qualify. And of course, we will discuss how that works for the other teams as well. But with Palmeiras, this is a very interesting thing, because I'm sure anybody that knows the history of the Club World Cup, they're aware of the involvement of Brazilian teams. I can remember particularly, and I don't want this to be Chelsea centric per se, albeit it is a Chelsea channel. But of course, anybody that knows about the Club World Cup for years, we are aware of the fact that teams from Brazil have often taken part in the competition. Of course, Corinthians, a team that defeated Chelsea, of course, in their first opportunity of trying to win that Club World Cup. After winning the Champions League in 2012, they lost in the finals to Corinthians. So of course, we know that Brazilian teams have had a key part to play in the Club World Cup and in this inaugural group stage formatted Club World Cup staging. And of course, this will be taking place every 4 years, similarly to the country level World Cup. We will see that will be the case. And of course, anybody that's been keeping their eyes or keeping tabs on what's going on in terms of the layout or the structure of it is that for the next 4 years, after the competition comes to an end, the winning team gets that with a winning badge on their kits or their jersey for the next 4 years, and they'll be given that title of the champions of the world at club level. So of course, it is something that a lot of teams will be looking and they'll be rearing to get that sort of acclaim and get that accolade be given to them, because of course, who does not want to be classified as the champions of the world at club level? Because and although that is subjective, of course, it is still something that has a good ring to it, and of course the trophy looks fantastic based on what I've seen. So any team that ends up winning it, of course, they'll be excited to get their hands on a trophy of that caliber in the inaugural version of this formatted Club World Cup. Just quickly want to mention something else. So Palmeiras have been handed a truly global group with a series of mouth-watering fixtures having been drawn into Group A alongside Egypt's Al Ahly FC, winners of 3 of the last 4 AFC Champions League crowns, European giants FC Porto, and of course Lionel Messi's Inter Miami, who we'll be discussing. Do you want to add anything or add your 2 cents on what I've said about Palmeiras or about the Brazilian teams that have taken part in the Club World Cup prior to this format that has now begun in 2025?
No, I think that was very well explained comprehensively, and nothing much to add, to be very honest.
All right, fair enough. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to give your
The microphone.
Yeah,
The microphone.
Yeah. So which team would you want to just add your 2 cents, even if you don't know
Maybe a little bit on Inter Miami. Of course, that's tricky because they're like teams from all over the world, right? And it's difficult to keep tabs. Yes,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so you can go ahead with Inter Miami, and I'll take Al Ahly.
Yeah, my boy Lionel Messi plays there, right? That's Lionel Messi, man, what a player! So I'm excited personally. Like to be very honest, forgotten about him for a few years, but I last saw him in the World Cup and some highlights, of course, of Inter Miami. So it's a great opportunity for football fans. I would say, love him or hate him, and rate him or don't rate him. Great opportunity to see him again in the top tournament, right? So it's great. I would say I absolutely rate him as the best player or the second best player ever. I'm always confused. Is Maradona the best or Messi the best? So, anyways, that's my mind is still not clear on that. I was about Maradona, but now I'm talking about Messi. I'm thinking he's the best. So it's that close. Anyways, but Lamine Yamal, keep an eye on Lamine Yamal, man. If someone can top Lionel Messi. Inter Miami, we know, like it's a resurrected club. It's a new creation of MLS. We know David Beckham's impact. He's the president over there. So it's well assembled. A lot of players from FC Barcelona, Suarez, even the manager is ex-Barcelona player, Mascherano. So they are doing well. They're improving. They still have to win. They still have to win the big prize over there. They won the cup recently. So they are still not the top dogs, as people would say, but they are knocking on the door. They have lost a couple of semifinals, and they have been inconsistent in the league. So that will be interesting to follow. I will try, if I have time, to keep an eye on Inter Miami. Messi, of course, like it's almost at the end of his career for sure. It will be interesting to see how he plays, how fit he is, and will he. And for football fans, it will not just about Inter Miami and Messi. A lot of eyes, a lot of analysts, critics would see if he can even play the next World Cup, which is just 365 days technically from today, right? So, and again, how smart he is. Like, even though Ronaldo and Messi both got slower naturally, because you can only do so at the highest level, but they have been very clever. They picked their spots. We know how he played in the 2022 World Cup, surprised everyone. And for me, like, yeah, one of the best players ever for sure. Like, some people have, I mean, vast majority of the fans around the world really rate him. I'm sure Cristiano Ronaldo fans may have a different view, but his ability, of course, with the ball in tight spaces is something I can still remember, especially from 2008 to 15. So yeah, Messi again. Sorry, it's about Inter Miami, but you guys can forgive me. It's natural when you have Lionel Messi. You can forgive me. I got excited. I made it more about Lionel Messi, so because he's the focal point. So the idea is for the club to grow. Of course, David Beckham's impact, the Messi's impact, the commercial impact is there. MLS again is still, to be very honest, right, is not there at all as far as, not even Europe. It's not there in terms of competing with South American teams generally, right? Top South American team, African teams. So they still have a long way to go, as much as they are trying to improve, recruit different players. But the level has improved if we see in the last 5, 7 years, but there's still a long way to go, in my opinion. Wherever we talk about or wherever we hear top shows, there's still a lot of critique on MLS. And again, I'm sharing what it is. It's nothing on US on or MLS, because I have a lot of fans from US, but it's not really their sport. I'm sure a lot of fans would not appreciate that. The stadiums are still not full, right? Even in Nations League matches, the stadium were not even half full, they were quarter. So this is a point, and this is not just me, it's everyone talks about it. So I'm sorry, I have to bring this up. It's not a critique, it's a fact that the interest among the US fan base is not there for this sport, even with all the investment and the advertisement for MLS. Hiring Pochettino, which for USA was of course a top hire, although a lot remains to be seen how he'll perform with them moving forward. And all that buzz, and with World Cup next year, still the interest of the fan base is not there, which is not really helping the future generation, to get involved with the sport. So still, it's still relying on the exports, and that too, once they have passed their prime, if I have to be very honest. But still, a lot of eyes will be on Inter Miami because of Lionel Messi. What do you have to add, Tyron? Sorry, I went long. Lionel Messi, can't help talk about him. I don't know how long he'll play, so I took the opportunity to talk on him. So if you want to add something on this.
Yeah, I mean, what you've actually said, it's very true in terms of the club itself, and this is where, when I speak about Ali Hadi, you may not be surprised, you may be surprised, you may say, wow, I don't know what you react, in what way you react, I should say. But yeah, I mean, the team is still very young. It's not even a teenage club yet. It's not been around for that long. Of course, it was founded back in 2018, and of course, you mentioned people like David Beckham or David Beckham, depending on pronunciation. So of course, we know that they, as a team, it's going to take them some time to even enhance themselves in the MLS. Albeit they have contested and they've done well in the MLS so far. So of course, yes. But what you said about the publicity or the support or the rallying that support, because of course the US, and as we've said before and as you said, it's not a disrespect, but it's just the truth. It's the fact that the support isn't there because they have the American football, and they have what they call football as well. So that's always going to be what gets the biggest attention. Of course, that is what they're known for. Baseball is another thing that gets a lot of popularity as well. Basketball, soccer, as it's called there, or football, that is called in every other part of the world. It's not something that would get them excited to really go and sit down and watch. They do so. Of course, that can all change because football is starting to be revolutionized. It's starting to spread even further. And of course, we know teams are starting to push their the academy are building projects or models that transcends just the European diaspora or the South American areas, but to go to the North American areas as well. So of course we know that that's the case. So yeah, I agree with you. And I just want to quickly mention this about Al Ahly, which is going to be something that I myself was surprised to know, is that going into this first fixture that will be taking place, going into this fixture between Al Ahly and Inter Miami, Al Ahly are the favorites because that's something that I didn't even know. They're the favorites. They're expected to actually get a good result over Inter Miami. And that really does show to you that they are one of the biggest sides, and they're known for the historical aspect of having those greatest players of all time, and Egyptian league and all of that is very important. So we know that it's one of those countries, Africa, I should say, or continent, I should say, that obviously gets the most publicity in terms of that aspect of the world. Of course, AFCON takes place, all of that, Egypt and all of that, Senegal, Ghana, all those countries. But with Al Ahly, they going into this first fixture between Inter Miami and Al Ahly, they're actually set to be the favorites to win that match. I know they alongside Porto, as we mentioned earlier, are expected to be the two teams that will top their groups or first and second. That's the expectation. Porto and Al Ahly, those are the ones in that order are expected. So we can move on to the next group as we try to to proceed and get closer to doing all segments of what we want to do. So let's move on to Group B, where we should be able to speak more about the clubs in it, because we know at least two out of the four relatively well. So let me know. You want to go with PSG or Atletico Madrid? We'll do it alternatively.
You start with PSG. You deserve the champions of Europe, sir. Start with the heavyweights, PSG.
Okay, so PSG. So we know the story, and I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be a little sidebar. I'm going to make it as brief as possible. I was confused as to why they were in the Club World Cup, given the fact that if it's based on accolades or what has happened in the last 4 years or 4 to 5 years. But when I did my research as to what they said is the reason, I said, okay, fine. They've proven to be second best in the Champions League. They've won League numerous times. Of course, we know that there was that one season where they didn't win it. But of course, we are aware of the fact that they've won the Champions League now. And of course, based on what has happened this season, it's not going to determine who's in it. It's about what has happened in the last 4 to 5 years in terms of who has won, the Champions League or won their respective leagues or has won a competition that has given them the right traditionally in playing in the Club World Cup, as we know with Brazil, Egypt, and of course the Saudi Arabian league that is starting to get more publicity and all push because of the greats that are going there. But with PSG, of course, we know that Luis Enrique has done a lot of work with some young players. And, they have some well-rehearsed, some veterans in that team. Marquinhos, of course, cannot forget him. Of course, they have Donnarumma, who's also there. But the thing is, the way in which they play, it is tremendous under Luis Enrique. I appreciate the way that he plays, and I cannot go on without mentioning this. That there was a time where he could have become Chelsea's manager, and we don't know the full story as to what happened. We only got briefing, but the fact is, PSG, in terms of how many heartbreaks that they've had over the years, in the Champions League coming out as second best or runners up numerous times, it is something that has shown that, albeit not with Mbappe, not with Neymar, not with those players, they've done it with young players. They've shown that it's time that football evolves and that young players are starting to be definitive. So of course, PSG, they win the league. They win league on numerous times. They've gotten their qualification strongly from that as well, and also from the fact that they do their best to continue to be there, be in one of the European giants. I know they're the European champions. So of course, they deserve it. No. The only unfortunate thing is that teams like Barcelona and Liverpool, to diversify it, are not in it, because we've seen what they're doing. We've seen what the likes of Hansi Flick would have probably wanted to do in this competition. But Luis Enrique being it is just the same good, because the way that he plays will make this competition even more enhanced. And of course, the teams that they'll be playing against as well also makes it one that I have to appreciate. So PSG, it'll be interesting to see what they do, but I don't want to really give away too much as to the dark horses and all of that. But of course, we know that PSG are one of the top teams that are known, and based on their accolades, they deserve to be mentioned as well. So I just quickly want to go back to the chat and give the microphone to the chat again before I allow Jerry to go on and speak about the other teams in Group B. So Poggy continued by saying, "Thank you for the invitation. No problem. We'll see if you're open to that. I'll see if that can happen in the future, but no pressure." And then Poggy once more gifted another membership. I am not sure who got the membership this time. I'd have to go back on YouTube and check. But much appreciation to you, Poggy, for yet another membership donation. Is appreciated. Gifted membership donation. Oh, wow. Okay. I've just checked who got the membership, and that's an interesting one. I've not seen that person in over 3 years, but much appreciation to you, Poggy. And congratulations to that individual. I don't want to mention the name because of some reasons, but of course, thank you very much, Poggy, for that donation. So back to you, Jerry. Atletico Madrid. Go ahead.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid, a team that I think a lot of football fans, as a neutral fan, like you can be a Chelsea fan of course, not Barca or Real Madrid. You mean any fan from other places in Spain. Atletico Madrid is one club which I cannot say for all, but a lot of fans support in terms of like, okay, underdogs, right? For the last 10 years, 15 years, the journey, they won to La Liga, especially in 2014. It's inspired a generation, the way they took on the very prime Barcelona, prime Barcelona of Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, and the very top well assembled Real Madrid team. So that season, I know it's 11 years back, but it's the same manager, Diego Simeone, of course. And they have performed very well. Champions League final, 2 times Champions League finalists that couldn't cross the line. And they won 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, rather, 2021, another league. But they have dropped, I would say. They have been very inconsistent in the league, especially also the Champions League, because they were making a lot of quarterfinals, semifinals regularly. So in the last 2-3 years, I think 2 years, I think this season before they were competing for the league until the end. But this season, I mean the season that just ended, I think that was a disappointment with their own standards, because they recruited Julian Alvarez, which is a huge recruitment for any club, I would say, let alone Atletico Madrid. And my favorite, Conor Gallagher. So I was disappointed because they really couldn't compete with Barca, Real Madrid, and also in the Champions League. I don't know like what really went wrong. I saw, of course, a couple of matches, maybe 5-6 because of Gallagher. I think Gallagher did very well in his first season. It again, like I think we missed Conor Gallagher because of his especially defensive play, closing tight spaces. He adds a lot in my opinion. So yes, again, it's not easy for the same coach to be there for what 12-13 years now. He has delivered a lot. So, and naturally, because they are not heavy spenders, it's difficult. Although they, as I said, they spend this time, but naturally, I mean, usually they don't really fix a lot of key areas. They sell and then they rely on the players they have or the academy players. So as I said, last season, what went wrong? Maybe I'll ask you, Tyrone, what really went wrong? Because with Alvarez and Gallagher, it was expected that they will challenge for the league and even the Champions League. So having said all of that, I still believe they have a very good squad. They have a very tough competitive squad with Koke and all the players still there. Like with all, I mean, most of the players from the last few years still there in their prime. Some maybe at the end of their career. So they still have a very, very solid squad, still very strong defensively. I really don't know like what Diego Simeone needs to do. I won't even say they are underdog because they are top team. So I can't put them in an underdog. I can't label them as underdogs. So I would say they are one of the top 4, top 5 teams to win this tournament. So yes, Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone, I appreciate them. I appreciate their work ethic, and the team is strong. I think the team is strong. They do have some areas they can definitely strengthen. So that's all I want to say about Atletico Madrid, and they have done very well in knockout tournaments, winning several cups in Spain, making Champions League finals, semi-finals. So keep an eye on Atletico Madrid. Tyron, what went wrong? I mean, if you want to answer that for them last season.
Ooh, that's a very silly question. I'll try to answer it quickly. Um, I, I mean, the thing is, and perhaps what I think a lot of people got wrong is that believing that just signing certain players will just diversify all of that. I think depth is important, and I don't think that in terms of the squad that they have, depth is really there. Of course, when they won the La Liga, they had Barcelona legends like Luis Suarez there. Of course, I believe Antoine Griezmann went back there. There's another player that is evading my mind right now. I'll just move on. But I think the depth is very important. I don't think they really had it. I'd have to look back at the table to see how massive of a drop off it has been in terms of the lack of delivering in terms of what the expectations were. But okay, so they lost by 12 points. Well, they finished third, 76 points. Barcelona, the champions, got 88 points. So, well, and I mean, it's not a bad record. I just think that the depth is.
Tyron, are you there? Tyrone, let's see. Maybe Tyrone internet is playing up right now. Let's see if he comes back anytime soon. Okay, yeah. So of course, let me continue until Tyrone is back. So Atletico Madrid, I think they have a very strong squad, and I think Tyrone rightly said the lack of squad depth is hurting them. And perhaps, I don't know, playing with the same manager for 30, even though I think we can all agree Diego Simeone did a fantastic job with what he had over the years. Like, but is it like, and especially with a lot of players still with him that played over the years, maybe it becomes redundant. Sometimes there is a lack of motivation. I don't know. But 76 points is still decent, but we were really expecting them to challenge for the title, which they didn't. So yeah. So let's move to the to other teams in this group until Tyrone is back. So Seattle Sounders, of course, another team from MLS, sixth, in the league. So again, like I think it will be difficult for them, as we already discussed when we talking about Inter Miami, especially for Seattle. Although they are doing decent, they're still trying to recruit, develop their squad. But with PSG, Atletico Madrid, with all due respect, I think it's a tall ask. It's close to impossible, I would say, in all fairness, that if we expect Seattle Sounders FC from MLS to challenge those two teams. But yes, for them, it will be all about the occasion. It will be participating in the top tournament, playing against top teams, and trying to get a result against a big team. So I don't fancy their chances in this tournament, and it's definitely due to the fact that they got a very very tough group. They got one of the toughest group, I would say, perhaps the toughest group, with PSG, the European champions, the Champions League winners, and Atletico Madrid, of course, a top side in the group. So we move to the last side, of course, but a very difficult name. Sorry about that. Botafogo de Futebol e Regastas, a long name. So again, like I think this is South American team, right? So it will be challenging, and we don't know a lot of these teams naturally because we don't really see until and unless you're a fan of a Brazilian league or a South American team or a South American league. Sorry, not a international team. So it's difficult. So I think same with the MLS team. For them, it's about competing with the top teams that they have. Again, I would say they are unlucky in terms of they got two of the teams that can potentially win the tournament. So it will be very challenging for them. Again, it will be interesting when they will face the MLS team that they have in the group, uh, Seattle. So for them, that would be a game that they should win to at least make the third spot. And once they play PSG and Atletico Madrid, we have to see how it plays out. Do they have the squad to face them? What tactics will they use? So it will be interesting. I'm sure there will be upsets. It's not that they're not there because of the squad quality of the squad or the investment. For sure, because they are all professionals, right? They have good players. Some of their players that we right now don't know will be part of a top European league or an African league, or maybe play for somewhere in Saudi Arabia. Like they will go ahead in their career. But a lot of teenagers, a lot of upcoming South American talent, right? So we can have a next big player over here or a couple of players. So, but overall, in terms of them having a great run, it's highly unlikely. I would say at best they might go and secure and get an upset. So let's see if Tyrone will make a comeback. Maybe I think his internet is having some difficulties. So this was about Group B. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think so far? Do you agree with our analysis? Do you think the teams that are, you can say, not really or not highly ranked, can they make an impact in FIFA Club World Cup? What do you think? Who is your favorite to win the tournament? Who is your dark horse in this tournament? Let's go to Group C now. Group C consists of Auckland City from New Zealand, Bayern Munich, the German giants, Benfica, of course, we all know from Portugal, and from Argentina, a very famous club, Boca Juniors. Boca Juniors. So, okay, I think Tyrone will make a comeback soon. Tyrone is making a comeback soon, and there were some problems, so he will be back anytime soon. So we'll discuss Group C. So probably I'll start with. Should I take Bayern Munich, the easy way out? Okay, I'll start with Bayern Munich. Since Tyrone is not here, I'll take the team, the heavyweights, Bayern Munich. So Bayern Munich, I think they are definitely the favorites over here in a group with Benfica, Boca Juniors, Auckland City. Okay, so Bayern Munich, I think will be the favorites, and they have an amazing squad. And personally, I don't know if you guys will agree. I think they have the best squad in Europe. I will go this far. They have the best squad in Europe, and that I'm sure you can see where I'm going with that. I think they are the favorites in my opinion. I see them winning this tournament. They have the best attack. If we add the midfielders, if we take the wingers into perspective, with Harry Kane, Ulize, Musiala among others, and a very, very good defense. Yes, the manager is still new, but he won the league last season, so I'm sure it will give him a lot of confidence moving forward. Uh, so Bayern Munich, they went out to Inter Milan in the Champions League quarterfinal. So that was interesting because a lot of people expected Bayern Munich to go through, although they dictated the pace, the possession, but Inter Milan were very clinical in over two legs. They took their time. They took their time and they scored goals at crucial points. So this is something that company has to work on. Of course, another disciple of Pep Guardiola plays a similar system to Enzo Maresca, right? But I saw in the later stages that he tried to change a bit, right? He's like a little bit more direct. The only difference is he's a little bit more direct. Uh, but again, a lot of principles are the same. But he does have a better squad than Bayern Munich. Musiala had a season that wasn't really up there because the way he was developing and performing with Bayern Munich. Last season was a bit of disappointment. Injury was a key reason for that, right? Olise, of course, also needs to prove his credential. Harry Kane finally won a trophy, won the league with Bayern Munich. We know Sane and Arsenal, right? And they will be adding more players. So I think Bayern Munich are really up there. And I think pound to pound, if you see the balance between the attack and defense, I'm sure a lot of people will not agree, but I think they are the best team in Europe right now. And for me, the team to win this tournament. As Tyrone is trying to make a comeback, I think it has a problem with electricity. So Tyrone will be making a comeback as soon as it will be possible for him. So that is the issue sometimes, of course. Okay, so let's see other teams over here. Benfica again. If you talk about Benfica, they finished above Porto and they only lost the league by 2 points against Sporting Lisbon. So they had a tremendous campaign, right? They are also in a great shape. You can say maybe both of the dark horses are perhaps the Portuguese side, Porto and Benfica. Both of them absolutely can make an impact. Porto because of this solid defense and they are so good in a knockout tournament. And Benfica, of course, due to their attacking style and were able to compete against a very strong Sporting Lisbon and just lost the league by 2 points. So I think that will be very interesting. That will be very interesting with Benfica there. So I believe it's a very tight group in terms of who the second team will be. I think Bayern Munich definitely because I think they'll win the tournament. I think they'll win the group. Second team could be Benfica or Boca Juniors because don't underestimate Boca Juniors, right? Boca Juniors, a top team with River Plate in Argentina. They always produce. It's called the factory of producing top talents over the last 20 years, or even more. I can just recall, sorry, up till the last 20 years. The players that they have produced, generational talent of Argentina. You know, right now again maybe a little bit transitional phase, but they have a young squad, very young squad. Most of the times, of course, the top players end up in Europe, in different parts of the world. But the way they play, it's amazing. Still traditional South American style, a lot of possession, not just the possession we see with the way teams in the English Premier League do, but with quick passing, and quick in transition, right? So they still play that way, and it will be interesting. Although they may not have the players that on paper yet, that we will say, okay, they are a team, they are a very solid team right now. But as I said, they have a lot of players that can potentially become world class player because that happens a lot of time with Boca Juniors. Tyrone is here. I'm glad, and I did an okay job in you when you were not here. So I'm right now on Boca Juniors. Sorry, Tyrone, I took the opportunity to talk on Bayern Munich in your absence. I was like, let me take Bayern Munich. I touched on Benfica. Feel free if you want to touch on those teams. Right now, I was on Boca Juniors, and I was just mentioning that don't underestimate them because they are one of the clubs which have produced top talent, which always go in Europe, different parts of the world. So they are like a hub of producing top Argentine talent. And I said, in my opinion, I said we may not know a lot of players, a lot of teenagers play in their early 20s, but you can have. I won't say Messi because it's kind of crazy to say we'll have another Messi. Maybe Yamal will be, but I'm saying you can have another Aguero or another top player coming from this club, or any other top player, or De Paul, or I won't say Enzo Fernandez because he needs to do better, or McAllister, any good player. A lot of Argentines we know. So River Plate is one of the club, as I said, who knows, the teenagers, some of them can transform into top players. So please go ahead. You're on mute, sir.
Right. So I just want to apologize. I lost connection. I'm not sure how far you got with the other teams. I don't know what you even said with them, but yeah, with Boca Juniors, as you said, they're known for creating uh, top players, or players that are top. I I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about them. But with Boca Juniors, of course, they're a team that, on paper, of course. But when you look at the group, people have said actually that the group that they're in, it's kind of complex for them. It's a group that doesn't do them any good, because at the end of the day, they have to be facing off against a team and a group of teams that can perhaps outbeat them. Which, to me, I've always tried to not use that type of terminology. But of course, in terms of what they can do, it remains to be seen. But Boca Juniors is a team, of course, they're known for creating a lot of South American talent. So, of course, that is one thing that they'll always have going for them. And, of course, Boca Juniors is a team that, of course, got their qualification all right due to what they have been able to do. The thing is, it's somewhat interesting to me that, that with seeing a lot of these teams coming to play, but so little is known about them in terms of the publicity. And I think FIFA has tried to do a lot in that aspect, try to educate persons who perhaps haven't gotten the chance to really take part in watching them play. But of course, with Boca Juniors, we cannot ignore that the fact. We have to mention that there's some players there that people will know about. I'm sure Cavani is obviously one player that people will know about, and of course, it'll be easy to see what they really do. But of course, that Boca Juniors, they're one of the two Argentinian sides that are heading, of course, into this competition. Of course, we would discuss the other option. But I just want to quickly move on to Auckland City. We're behind schedule. But with Auckland City, there's a team that has gotten obliterated in the past by Al Ittihad. Etihad. So in terms of that, they're going into this as the favorites to get fourth. So of course that is not really a good place for them. But of course, Auckland City it's a team where a lot of people are not giving them any opportunity of or any chance of finishing even third. But people are saying fourth is the highest they can expect for them. So with Auckland City, it's a team that is based in, of course, New Zealand, Auckland, the capital, of course. And of course, as it goes back to what we said earlier, 20 different countries are being represented in the Club World Cup. So you have New Zealand being represented by Auckland City Football Club, and of course, this club is 21 years old. It was founded on February 3, 2024 or 2004, and it was founded in 2004. I should probably say it like that. And of course, it's a club that is based in the suburb of Auckland, New Zealand. So of course, that is something that I'm sure not many people really acquainted with. And we do know that these teams obviously will be grateful for the opportunities that they've had, but of course, being in a group such as the one that they're in, it poses a lot of challenge because not only is Bayern Munich there as a top favorite, but Benfica is also expected to battle with Bayern Munich for that second or first spot, so first and second spot. So of course that's that. So we can perhaps move on from this group, go on to Group D, the group that entails both of our clubs, of course, and then we can proceed here as well. So the first club there is Flamengo. Let me see if I can return my other device to this so we can share the picture. But of course, we know that Flamengo it's a team, of course, that is representing Brazil as well. I reached out to a fellow Brazilian friend of mine who supports Flamengo to provide me some insights. I'll just be reading what he sent me to help me with giving some information about the team. So what he had to share with me was this. So, and of course I knew a bit, but I knew a few things before, of course, knowing that some players that used to play for Chelsea who are Brazilian by birth, albeit may represent other teams, or Brazilian and they represented Brazil, are there. So Zico is the team's biggest icon. That's what he said, or idol. Their mascot is a vulture because it was known as a poor people's fan club, and it was an insult to call Flamengo fans vultures. But one day they released a vulture in Maracana, and since then the vulture is the team's official mascot. So he had sent me a picture. I'm not sure if I can share it here because of how it looks. But this is how it looks. This is the mascot that they have.
Looks very, very clear, Tyrone. Yep.
Yeah. So
Maybe if you share
Flamengo,
again, it looks great for the fans. It really looks great.
yeah, I have it on my phone. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to really, do it otherwise. But I think let me see if I can grab. I can't zoom. Okay, so this is how it looks. This is the mascot for them. And then he shared some history with me. So Flamengo won the 1981 World Cup against Liverpool. So that's interesting. 3-0. Vinicius Junior was revealed at Flamengo and is a Flamengo fan. You have Arrascaeta is our main player. So that's what he said. He's a player for the Uruguayan national team. In this World Cup, we have 3 teams from Rio de Janeiro. So Flamengo is one of them, Flamengo, and of course Botafogo was mentioned. I believe Jerry said that it was a issue with pronouncing it, which is the same for me. I don't know if it's Botafogo or Fugo. I'm not really sure.
That was a tough one. Trust me, I was all alone when I was like, man, that was a tough pronunciation.
Yeah.
So sorry, my bad if I didn't pronounce it correctly.
But the thing is, with Flamengo, or one of the teams in Group D, or Group Chelsea, that is, Flamengo is the 3-time Libertadores champion. So of course they have great history there. And of course Botafogo, I have to mention this, Botafogo, the team that was in Group B, I believe it was, they are the current champions. So that is a key fact as well. So that's that. So the main rival in Brazil is Palmeiras, which has, of course, a player that of course we mentioned, Estevão Willian. He is going to be representing Palmeiras before, of course, he will officially be able to play for Chelsea. It remains to be seen if they allow that to happen. And then, of course, Flamengo is currently the leader of the Brazilian Championship. So, of course, Flamengo is the team that is currently at the top based on their recent accolades and achievements. And, of course, as I mentioned before, former Chelsea players that have played for Flamengo have gone back there as well. And, of course, Jorginho's recently signed with them. The manager as well is a former Chelsea left-back in Felipe Luis. And, of course, that David Luiz is also a defender there as well. So, a lot of Chelsea connections there with Brazil, and that's been the case for years. Well, Ramirez, we know about that. So that is Flamengo. Now, I want to quickly go on to speak about Los Angeles FC, and I'm going to see if I can share this from the official Chelsea website as we quickly try to move on. We're way behind schedule, so I'll just quickly do this. You know what? rather than share, let me just read it. So Los Angeles Football Club, or LAFC, it's obviously based in United States. The city is Los Angeles, probably a given. It was founded in 2014. This first game in 2018. MLS Cup, their major honors includes the MLS Cup in 2022, Supporters Shield 2019-2022, US Open Cup 2024, and their head coach currently is Steve Cherolondolo. And then after that, you have in 2024, the league they finished first in the Western Conference, knocked out in the conference playoff semis. The stadium is BMO Stadium, Los Angeles. Their colors is black and gold. The black and gold is what their nickname is. And their biggest rivals is LA Galaxy, also based in that same state as well. So, CONCACAF Champions League record. So, LFC first qualified for the tournament contested by teams in Central and North America in 2020. In a COVID-affected edition of the competition, LFC reached the final where they were beaten 2-1 by Club Talleres by Mexico, I should say. And then LFC's next participation in the CONCACAF Champions League was in 2023 when they again reached the final, having progressed past Vancouver Whitecaps and Philadelphia Union. A Mexican side again denied them the trophy. This time it was Club Leon, a team that has been suspended from this edition. They were supposed to be the team that we were going to face, but LAFC has taken their place instead. So earlier this year, LAFC began their continental campaign with wins over fellow MLS sides Colorado Rapids and Columbus Crew before losing to Inter Miami at the quarterfinal stage. So of course, that is some key information. So the reason why they're in the Club World Cup is because of the fact that they were able to qualify for the Club World Cup basically by finishing second in the CONCACAF Champions League after they lost to Inter Miami, who's also a host of the Club World Cup as well in the United States. But of course, we know that they ended up replacing Club Leon, as I mentioned, despite being beaten by them in 2023, that CONCACAF Champions League final. But of course, we know that one player that we must mention is Olivier Giroud, a former Chelsea player. He's in the squad. Of course, we know that he won the Champions League, Europa League, and the FA Cup with Chelsea in 2021, 2019, and 2018, respectively. So, of course, those are options there as well. So let's move on to the one and only Chelsea Football Club. Will speak about them briefly because we support Chelsea, so I suppose we can just touch the surface with that and then move on. So, Jerry.
Yes, of course, of Chelsea we can take both together, little. How can it be possible that only you or I will take Chelsea? So
because we've talked about it, one person can do it.
No, both a little bit. We don't have to talk all about the squad and everything. So yeah, we're not analyzing the squad of Chelsea or anything, which is a great squad. So yeah, Chelsea finishing fourth now, right? Showing that we belong here. Simple as that. You are fourth. You. This means you are in the top half, right? Four for me is not like a huge achievement, but it's now not giving us any excuse either to the manager or to the player or to the owners or the sporting directors that we need time. Sorry. Because you finished fourth, you finished. I didn't ask you to finish fourth. You finished fourth. It was not a requirement, but you showed you exceeded the requirement. Well done. Honestly, well done. But now go to the next level, sir. You're fourth, so don't say it takes time. We are rebuilding. We need this and that. I really appreciate Enzo Maresca for saying that, okay, this is the PSG footprint that we are trying to achieve. But you're fourth. Go challenge for the league. Win or not, that's another thing. Try your best. Club World Cup, I know Bayern Munich, I think, will win the tournament. I said it when you were not here. A lot of fans will not agree. So I know if Chelsea don't win the tournament, I won't say it's a failure, but I will expect Chelsea to top this group with all due respect, because we definitely have a better squad and we do have better players and a better league, to be very honest. So we shouldn't have problem, even if we get an upset, over here in a game, or draw a game or lose a game. We should not have any excuse not to go to the next round, right? I think we will top the group. I have no doubts about that one. We'll have a great start. So then round of 16. This is important, Tyrone, because we will face the because with other groups we were just talking about the teams, the potential, right? But because it's Chelsea, and as we know, we'll play the runner up of. Sorry. First of all, first I should have said, assuming that we finished first, we will face the runner up of Group C. That could be if we say Bayern Munich are going to top that group. Again, it's hypothetical, but we are getting a feel of it, permutation and combination. So we'll probably, in my opinion, Tyrone, face Benfica or Boca Juniors. I think either of those will finish second, unless Bayern Munich lose a game or draw a game and have a bad start. Then we may face Bayern Munich. So I see, Tyrone, us facing Benfica or Boca Juniors, which would still be a good game, but then I see us going to the quarterfinal. From quarterfinal onwards, I think for Chelsea, the real teams, the top teams, like potentially a Real Madrid or a PSG or Atletico Madrid, Man City of this world, up till the final will clash. So that will be interesting. I think a lot of Chelsea fans, many Chelsea fans would be dying to see like what we'll do against the top European giants, right? And so this is a question mark. But because we have performed in the best league, we went neck to neck against top teams. We defeated Liverpool, the champions of England, right? We dominated them 1-3-1 at Stamford Bridge. We finished well. We won. We finished fourth above Newcastle and City. So we have to compete, Darwin. We have to go ahead. I'm giving the credit because this is on paper. You, we have not won the league. We did not compete for the league, but we have done enough to show our squad is good. No more excuses. Delap is here, right? We have a striker. Nicholas Jackson is rehearsed for 2 seasons now. The squad is rehearsed for 2 seasons. We have a solid midfield. I would always think of a little bit height is missing, but some people disagree, but that's fine. We can still improve a little bit of the defense. I know you have another take, but I think Enzo Maresca has really improved our defense. That's the only thing I can credit him for. So I think it's a knockout tournament. The way Enzo Maresca plays, especially whenever Tyrone, I have noticed that again, Chelsea score an early goal or score the first goal, whenever that may be 10th minute, 37th minute, 54th minute, then Enzo Maresca has rehearsed the squad very well to be so solid, be very compact with an additional player in defense whenever we score a goal, and make it super challenging for the opponents. So I think, I don't know, as much as, I'm not a huge fan of Maresca, Tyrone, maybe in a knockout tournament, if he can really shape up the defense, make it very difficult for oppositions, I don't know, it can work, Tyrone. I have expectations now from Chelsea. We have won, although we have won Conference League, which is not really a big European cup, but at least the players, as a lot of people say, they have felt what winning is about. They have felt a cup. They have enjoyed the celebrations. Go for the Club World Cup, I would say. If you don't win, of course, not all is lost. Why not really go and win this tournament before the start of next season? Tyrone?
So much things were said all ago. So much things were said. Hmm. Of course, based on expectations, these historical expectations that Chelsea should be competing and challenging for every competition that they're in. And of course, that attitude and mentality will always remain the same. But what I must say is this. As you rightfully said, it is important that we remember that the expectations that we were told was that let us try to develop a structure, build up a philosophy or our foundation for qualifying for Champions League. It was not to get Champions League according to what we were told. So, and I've said this even when we did a show prior, that if you end up exceeding expectations, then surely you have to deliver more. So whatever was supposed to be done in the second year or Yeah, the second year. So if you, or should I say the third year, since the second year would have been to qualify for the Champions League. If what was supposed to be done in the third year, um, that has to be in the second year now, because you've already done what's supposed to happen in the second year. So yeah, of course, you know, the Club World Cup was always going to be a case. So whether or not we would have met the objectives of what the first season was supposed to be, was obviously going to be that let us try to do well in the Club World Cup. And of course, I have to say that I don't see Chelsea going all the way. I do see them, of course, getting to the knockout stages, because it is very possible that that will be done. Not to downplay the teams, but realistically, in terms of the depth, in terms of what they would have said as well, the backing, the financial backing that Chelsea have, the players, the rotational squad that they have, it is very possible. And you have players that are going to get a chance to prove themselves. They have one last chance to prove themselves or to impress other clubs. So for the players that may be likely to leave, or players that will not be leaving, they have a chance to make a claim to say that I deserve to be playing, or to be classified as one of the better options as well. So of course that is obviously going to be a very key thing to remember. But will expectations be exceeded again? It remains to be seen. Both Jerry and I are saying that we don't see Chelsea going all the way. If our expectations are exceeded, fantastic, beautiful. It's a good prize money to get. It's a very good acclaim to get as well. The world champions, of course, to be very good. And of course, as Jerry has it, his name is World Cup Dreamer. So of course, we're dreaming for that, for more glory, for more trophies, and for more attraction to prospective players that we can get after the Club World Cup will end in July. So, of course, that is something that definitely we have to mention. So, I just want to quickly move on to the next.
Yeah, so, sorry, just 1 second. One statement I'd like to add, if you allow me. So, sorry about that.
Go
Can
ahead.
I?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
sorry about that. So I really, as much as you can see the positivity that I'm having, after I'm still like have so many questions, right? I don't want to go there, but all the positivity that I'm having. The last thing I want to hear, if hopefully we'll win the tournament, if we get knocked out, let's say in the quarterfinal or semi-final, the last thing I want to hear that it was not a requirement. Seriously, I don't want to hear it. But I think if we get knocked out, we'll hear something like that, Darren. I had to mention that, Darren.
Hmm. Well, if that's what we hear, then I'm going to be upset. I have to be honest. Very much upset. If I hear that, but I mean, I'm not gonna go any further with stating anything else in that aspect. But yeah, let's move on to the next team, the last team that is in that group for us. Of course, it's not in the order as the picture I'm showing here, but the last team that we'll discuss from Group B is Esperance Sportive de Tunis. Of course, this is a team that many people don't know about. It's from Tunis, Tunisia. It's a club that has been around for quite some time as well. So it's not a new club. It's a club that has existed for a long time, over a century. And they were founded in 1919, January 15, 1919 to be exact. That was when they were founded. So of course, it's a club that is very much very old club in that aspect. So of course, they play in the Tunisian Professional League. I have to mention that. Definitely, I cannot disregard that as well. Um, of course, as I mentioned before, we know that that Chelsea's campaign will begin on Monday, June 16, against Los Angeles FC. Of course, they will play Flamengo of Brazil after that. And then, of course, the last match that we will be having is against Estonis in the early hours of Wednesday, June 25, in the UK. Of course, kickoff is at 2 a.m. in the UK time. It will be 8 p.m. for EST, and of course, in other time zone. I'd have to do the maths. Can't read right now. But of course, we do know that with them, as I mentioned before, they were founded in 1919. They have won 4 CAF Champions League titles, 34 Tunisian league titles, and 16 Tunisian Cups. So, of course, in their league, they're doing tremendously, and they're a big team in their country as well, albeit not really known in the wider diaspora as the other European giants or the other teams in Portugal or Brazil or Argentina, whatever the case may be. So, of course, their colors is red and yellow. In the 2024-25 league season, they finished first, so they are the champions going into this. Their rivals are Club Africain, Tunis Derby. That's what it's known as, because that club I should say in the country is also situated in the same area as well. So there it's a derby. Of course, that's that. And of course, their record in the CAF Champions League is that they've competed in it on 4 separate occasions: 1994, 2011, 2018, and 2019. This makes them the 4th most successful club in the tournament's history, behind Egyptian sides Al Ahly, 12 titles, and Zamalek, 5 titles, and Congolese outfit TP Mazembe with 5 titles. So, of course, they won the Tunisian Cup. I beg your pardon, they were defeated in the Tunisian Cup final by Stade Tunisien 1-0, courtesy of a second half goal from Nigerian midfielder Onichi Ogbelu. So, of course, there's a lot of history surrounding them in terms of competing in the African competitions and, of course, competing otherwise. But, of course, we do know that they're a team, as I said before, very successful. So, let's move on to Group E. A group that is filled with a European giant and also 3 clubs that are looked at as the massive underdogs in that group. So, Jerry, what do you have to say about River Plate? Or what do you know briefly about River Plate?
Yeah, River Plate, as you know, we were talking about Boca Juniors. So River Plate, I think, is the club in Argentina, in my opinion. So I'm sure Boca Juniors fan will not appreciate that. So if we see 2023, they won the league. Of course, dropped off in 24, hired a new manager. So they were unbeaten, up until recently in 2025. So they are performing, at the highest level right now. A lot of teenagers, a young squad, as always, the key is because a lot of players leave, unfortunately. That is probably one reason why these leagues, don't sustain, because they are more of a selling club naturally, because the players from those parts of the world get a big offer from Europe or now Saudis, which is great, but money talks. That's the thing. So as we say that a lot of people don't know about these teams, it's only because of the exposure, I would say. The talent is there. Either it's Argentina, it's Colombia, Brazil. We can all agree we can like Brazil more, or Argentina, or Colombia, or Uruguay, but from the dawn of football up until now, we see all this star spread across different top leagues in the world, right? I'm sure that's not a rocket science. We can agree, and the players come from these places, right? So they are performing very well according to my, of course, limited research. I have, of course, seen only the highlights. They have a new manager, Marcelo Gallardo, who returned in 2024, and defensively they are amazing. Which is a new trait, because generally they are not known for their defensive, because they really go play high octane football, possession based. So they are playing more like, you can say, the Argentine national team. Argentine national team is not parking the bus. I'm not saying they're parking the bus, but they are focusing more, which is an evolution, I would say, in Argentine football, because historically they didn't play this way, but now they're playing with a tighter, a more compact defense, making it difficult for the opposition. And they do have young players, pace on counter. So it's an interesting team. And there are so many players that I'm seeing, which of course I don't know right now personally, but potentially 3 to 4 of some of the forwards and midfielders are linked with some European sides, potentially top European side in the Premier League as well. So I would say, and first of all, I would say to myself, Jerry, make sure to keep an eye on River Plate. And based on what I have read, I think we should keep an eye. I'm sure our sporting director, Tyrone, will be keeping an eye, not just on River Plate, but some of the other South American teams that are playing, because they have wealth of teenagers, and especially River Plate, Tyrone. I'm kind of excited. to see the potential that they have, because in my research, there's a lot of praise of this River Plate team, Tyrone.
Yeah, that is the case. And of course, as you rightfully said, they are one of the two teams that will be waving the Argentinian flag or flying it high for Argentina. So of course, River Plate is one team. And I just want to quickly say this. So River Plate books their place at the Club World Cup via the ranking pathway. The win against Libertad on the fifth match day of Group H of the 2024 Copa Libertadores allowed them to advance the knockout stage of the competition and, more importantly, guarantee their place among the 32 teams that will compete in the first extended edition of this Club World Cup in the USA. So, of course, I just want to quickly mention the club facts file. So they were formed even before Chelsea. So that's very interesting. They've existed longer than 4 years prior to Chelsea's, being founded or being formed in 1901. Their nicknames is El Millonario, meaning the millionaire, or La Banda, the stripe. So of course they wear stripes. So their colors include white, red, and black. So yeah, that's a very key thing. So let's move on to the next team that is in their group, and we can decide to go with Urawa.
Tyrone, you go with Inter Milan. I know you are well rehearsed. You have followed Inter Milan, and now with a new manager. And so my question is, with a disappointing end of the season, even though they were very good up until April. So what do you have to say on Inter Milan and with the new manager over here?
I would like for us to discuss Urawa Red Diamonds first from Japan, and then I move on to Inter Milan.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because Inter Milan will lead to us speaking for 10 hours. So let's just ensure that the other teams get that publicity first. But yes, with Urawa Reds, they are Japanese giants. And of course, there are lots of fans from Japan that support that club, are very excited is going to be taking part in such a infamous clubs around the world love to see or to love to participate in. So, of course, they're heading into this inaugural edition of the Club World Cup due to the fact that, they were able to deliver good results on their way there. It's a rare case for a club being far more successful on the continental stage than the domestic one. To take part in this, but of course they have won the J League just once in 2006, but having 2017 and 2022, that gave them the opportunity to take part in this competition. So of course, you know that qualification is based on what clubs have done during the period of 2021 to 2024. So they won the AFC Champions League in 2022, therefore giving them the opportunity to. But it's a rare case for them because on a domestic level, they are not really the most successful team. But of course, they won't complain because they're getting that opportunity to participate. So that's just a quick thing I wanted to say about your Red Diamond. So I just want to quickly speak about Inter Milan so we can move on to, of course, the other team that is there, the Mexican team in CF Monterrey. So Inter Milan is a very interesting one, because going into this, the Champions League final, I should say, going to that Champions League final, the final match that they've had of that season, it was, I think, would have been a bit distracted, of course, due to the fact that Simeone Inzaghi was actually already rumored and linked and confirmed to be going to the Saudi League. I think that probably didn't help matters. But of course, their new manager it's it's one that I was surprised that they went for him. But Christian Chivu, he's a Romanian football coach. He has history with Inter Milan. He used to play for them all the way back in 2007. So of course they've gone back to him. And of course, while he was playing at Inter Milan, he was a defender, and also when he played for AS Roma, Ajax, and among other teams, he obviously took part there. But I think in terms of what they've done in recent time, of course, that with the likes of Romelu Lukaku, and of course with managers like Antonio Conte. They've had glory in the Serie A, which is, I believe, a key reason for their participation in this. And of course, we know it didn't really go well for them in the Champions League final. It was a case where you're saying, did they even deserve to be in the Champions League final based on the standards of what they delivered in that final? So I found it strange that that was the case. But let's focus on the Club World Cup. So, of course, you know that the UEFA ranking helped them in the pathway. So, of course, thanks to the fact that they ended up winning the Serie A, and also for the fact that they took part in the Champions League final with Manchester City, who are also qualified for this, they were linked. They were ranked, I should say, higher up onto the UEFA ranking. And of course, that gave them. So, of course, it was because of domestic success for the last 4 years. It was about what they've done in the Champions League and also in the UEFA ranking based on them winning the Serie A or the Scudetto trophy in the last 5 years. So, of course, that has helped them tremendously. But with Christian Chivu, I haven't seen a lot of him. I do know that, of course, he's from Romania, as I mentioned before, and he has connections in Inter Milan. So he is indeed a player with some connection. So, yeah, I mean, in that sense, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with him. But let me just give you the short notice. So I want to thank Jerry for his participation and for holding down the fort while I was gone for a good 10 to 15 minutes. But Jerry has informed me that he has an appointment, and he did tell me before the stream that he had an appointment, so you'd have to depart by the earliest 4:30 UK time. So I think he perhaps has had to speed that up. He has an appointment, but I want to thank him so much for being here for so long. We've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, and there's just 3 groups left. So I believe that it's fair, and I'm sure that the fans can also accept his apologies. But he has to leave, and we know that bills don't pay themselves. And being busy is very good. So thank you very much, Jerry. Any last words before you go?
Yeah, I would have loved to stay till the end, but unfortunately or fortunately, I have an appointment at 5. So I still have 5 minutes. Maybe I would like to hear you complete with Inter Milan. Yes, so yeah, the show went a little bit long. Of course, 32 teams to cover, so naturally. So yes, I would like to apologize if I'm leaving in the middle. And thanks for the understanding, sir. Please go ahead. Fantastic show. And yeah, I'm here for a couple of more minutes to hear your thoughts on Inter Milan. Thank you.
All right, fair enough. So, yeah, so with Inter Milan, of course, it'll be interesting to see what they'll do, but they are actually one of the dark horses. And I want to quickly just ask for you to remind me, before I continue Inter Milan, who did you say you expect to win this since you're leaving, so we can, get...
Yeah, sure, I'm here for 3 to 5 minutes if you want. I think Bayern Munich will win this tournament.
Bayern Munich, okay. So they're the favorites. They're one of the favorites. Not the favorites, but one of the favorites based on betting odds and all of that. Okay, Bayern Munich, that's very interesting for some individuals that perhaps will be tuning in later on. But okay, fair enough. I will give mine at the latter part of this stream, so you guys will have to wait and see what I say there. But Jerry says Bayern Munich, he believes will win it, and I can understand why. They have a good squad as well, and albeit the manager is not a flash manager, you can understand why they are expected to do so well as well. But with Inter Milan, of course, we know that not just looking at the recent history, they're one of the most successful sides in the history of Italian football. That goes without question. They have won 20 league titles in Serie A, so that goes without question. They're one of the most successful teams in it. So, of course, we're not going to let, because of recent history, mention that they're one of the most successful teams. Champions League glory, of course, 9 Coppa Italia trophies, 8 Italian Super Cups. So, of course, they are one of the most successful teams, not just in Italy, but in club football. So, of course, it makes sense that they'll be in the competition, albeit not winning the Serie A consistently in the last 5 years. But, of course, that's what I have to say about Inter Milan. I want to see what Christian Chivu will be able to do as well. As I said, he has connections to Inter Milan and the Italian league, playing for AS Roma and for Inter Milan as well in the early 2000s. And of course, as a head coach now, it'll be interesting to see if that connection, that love, that passion, that drive, that sentiment that he has for Inter Milan, if it will be there and what he'll be able to do. Inter Milan is not a bad team. I do believe that they struggled massively due to, lack of squad depth and the options that they have. Taremi, who was at Porto a few years ago, of course, joined them. Thuram, of course, being there. We know Lautaro Martinez. Players like that. Of course, Lautaro Martinez has won the World Cup edition. So Milan is according to betting odds and according to the rankings and the expectations. Can you imagine if Inter Milan win the Club World Cup, and we can say that Lautaro Martinez is also not just a World Cup winner, but he's a Club World Cup winner? That'd be a tremendous thing for him as well as for Inter Milan. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Inter Milan. I know you said that you have to go, Jerry, but any last words again before you leave?
Yeah, I would say thank you for having me for the historic show. I'm sure we both are like doing our best because a lot of research to be done or was done for this, but because we don't have, I won't really say access, but we don't have like the time to watch all the leagues in the world. So a lot of stuff was just the highlights, a little bit of reading. So we tried to cover as much as possible. I'm sure the fans loved it, or the ones who will watch it later. And Tyrone, definitely, I would be very much interested to hear the rest of the three groups. Once I come back, I will listen to it. Nothing much to add, so I'll be very much interested to see what you will have to say on the three big teams that are in the three groups: PSG, Manchester City, and Real Madrid. So personally, I would be really, really interested to have your take on the European champions, the Champions League winners, of course, Real Madrid with Alonso. And do you think Kylian Mbappe can make a huge comeback? And Manchester City, I don't know like what to say on them. Of course, they have done it all. So yeah, and the other teams as well, with all due respect. So very well done, Tyrone. And again, thank you for having me. And big up to Chelsea Auntie, who is in the chat. So guys, please enjoy the show. Guys, please enjoy the show. Huddersfield Town is here. Buggy is here. Thank you for the support. Tyrone, I'll see you soon. Take care, my man.
All right. Thank you very much, Chelsea Auntie. The show is not ending here. I probably gave that impression based on what Jerry just said. But the show will continue. Of course, it will continue. But thank you very much, Chelsea Auntie. I'm assuming that you had the stream open, you're listening, and you just opted to just comment. Big up to you, Chelsea Auntie. I'm just going to quickly do this as well because I've been watching your channel massively in the past few weeks, and I know that you had what you call it, an objective that you wanted to meet, which is to get 60 subscribers in 60 days. Of course, you said that didn't necessarily happen, but you gained a lot of subscribers nonetheless. So for the 5 people watching here, if you have not already, please go and subscribe to Chelsea Auntie's channel. Let us try to get her to 100 subscribers. Chelsea Auntie as well. So I believe that she deserves way more subscribers than she has right now. And I understand that challenge and that obstacle of delivering good content and not really getting the opportunity to really get that publicity in the way that you want it. But thank you very much, Chelsea Auntie, and I do hope, and I'll be watching your channel carefully to see your progression as well, because you deserve way more than the subscribers that you have now. But slowly but surely you're getting there, and I believe that your channel has great potential to even grow even further. So let's move on to Group F, starting with yet another legendary Brazilian club in the likes of Fluminense. I butchered that, I'm sure, but Fluminense or Fluminense, I probably butchered it. I'm going to move on, so I stop embarrassing myself. But the Brazilian Pioneers, they're eyeing a limelight in the FIFA Club World Cup 2025. And of course, I'll just give you a little brief rundown of their history and some fact file as well. So they're one of the 4 Brazilian clubs that qualified. Of course, Fluminense FC are taking aim at the FIFA Club World Cup 2025 as they want to make themselves be known as a top Brazilian team, not just in the Brazilian league, but also at an international level as well. So we are aware of the fact that, as you can see here, they will be facing off against Dortmund, Ulsan HD from Korea, and Mamelodi Sundowns FC as well. So after finishing as runners-up at the 2023 FIFA Club World Cup, Fluminense are back on the global stage and looking to make waves in the US. They will face Borussia Dortmund, Korea Republic heavyweights Ulsan HD, and South African giants Mamelodi Sundowns at the finals. So those are the three teams that they'll be facing off against. And of course, their first fixture will be on Tuesday, June 17, against Borussia Dortmund at the MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey as well. Then they'll be playing against Ulsan HD, the Korean Republic, great at MetLife Stadium as well at New York, New Jersey as well. So they'll be playing against Mamelodi Sundowns FC. I'm butchering this name massively. I apologize for that. On the 25th of June, which is a Wednesday, as well at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. So that is that. So they qualified for it due to the fact that in 2023 they won the Copa Libertadores and they claimed one of the 6 berths allocated to the CONMEBOL, which is the league in that area of the world in South America. So in the final, seen as Boca Juniors, those score gave Fluminense a lead at halftime, only for Boca Juniors to equalize in the second stanza through Luis Advincola. However, an extra time goal from Johnny Kennedy propelled Fluminense to a dramatic 2-1 triumph as well. So they were formed in 1902. The stadium is Maracana, and of course their colors is tricolor, Nense and Flozo. So their club history, the word Flumen means river, which is why people born in the state of Rio de Janeiro have always been collectively known as Fluminenses, which is the people of the river. So that word has long since acquired another meaning, however, since 21 of July 1902 to be exact, when the football club was founded by Oscar Cox. So that is a little brief history there. And of course, one great player that we must mention that was at Chelsea, albeit in his latter days, at the greatest level, was Thiago Silva as well. So we know that that is one player, and I believe he went back there as well. So yeah, we move on to Borussia Dortmund as well. German greats, a team that is, of course, known well in the German league, the Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund. So I'm aware that a lot of people are definitely wondering how Borussia Dortmund are even in this competition, given that, in terms of what they've achieved in the last 4 to 5 years, it hasn't been massive. But of course, they're one of the 2 German representatives at the new look of the Club World Cup. And they have the profile as being a Bundesliga giant with serious title ambitions being there as well. So Borussia Dortmund will be obviously one of the 12 European representatives and one of the 2 German sides at the FIFA Club World Cup as well. So let us take a look at the key insights that we need to know about them. So, of course, we know they'll be playing against Fluminense FC on Tuesday, June 17, as I mentioned earlier, from the Fluminense point of view. They qualified for it due to the fact that in 2023-2024 UEFA Champions League, they were runners-up, as that allowed them to secure their place at the Club World Cup in March 2024 via the ranking pathway based on their performances in the tournament over the past 4 campaigns. So, of course, we know that Dortmund have delivered a lot of great performances in the Champions League. So, due to the fact that they've done that, in the UEFA ranking, they were high up on that list, and they ended up getting that acclamation to be in the competition. So that is how they snapped up that German ticket alongside their rivals in Bayern Munich from Group C. So let's move on to the next team here that we must mention for sure. In Ulsan HD, the Korea Republic, I should say, great as well. Great representation. As we said before, 20 countries are being represented in this staging of the Club World Cup. So let's move on to Ulsan HD from the Korea Republic. I was going to invite you guys to like and share the stream as well. I really appreciate all the support that you guys have given to the stream today. Big up to Huddersfield Tone Fan TV, who's also here, who's also a member. Poggy said, great show. Can Chelsea win the tournament? We obviously have mentioned that. Me and Jerry mentioned if we believe that that would be done. We both agree that we don't see it happening, but we do believe that we'll do well in the knockout stages. And perhaps the furthest I believe we'll get is the quarterfinals. That it has nothing to do with we not trusting the team. I just don't think that we're there yet. And I believe that the squad depth is pretty poor in terms of the options that we've brought there. But of course, let us mention also we've moved past Chelsea's group, so let's focus on Group F. So the Korea Republic outfit will take on nations from all across the globe in the States. They face the 2023 CONMEBOL Copa Libertadores winners Flames FC, as we mentioned before, Borussia Dortmund, and Mamelodi Sundowns FC, both of which head to the tournament thanks to the ranking pathway as well. So, of course, their first match is against Mamelodi Sundowns FC on the 17th of June as well. The next match is against Fluminense FC on the 21st of June, which is a Saturday. And then the final group match is against Borussia Dortmund on the 25th of June as well. So they qualified by the AFC ranking pathway. The club achieved that position on the back of some excellent showings over the course of a 4-year period from 2021 to 2024 in the AFC Champions League, including semi-final finishes in the 2020-21 and the 2023-24 editions. Ulsan confirmed the participation with a 1-0 home win in the first leg of the 2023-24 Champions League semi-final against Yokohama F. Marinos in April at that time. So the year that they were formed is 1983, so they're relatively young or on the younger side of course, the 20th century team. So 1983, 42 years old presently. But the club history has great ties to the Hyundai Horang IFC in 1983. The same year the K-League was, or the Korean League, I should say, was launched. The club was based in Echeon and Gyeonggi province at the time, but moved to Gangwon province in 1987. It is not until 1990, though, that Ulsan became the home of the Hyundai Horang E in 1991. However, the club appointed Cha Bom-kon, the first Korean to play in the German Bundesliga, as its head coach and began its journey to become a Korean League powerhouse. So that is a very interesting thing that I just wanted to share with you guys as well. So it took a long time for them to get back to winning ways, and that return took place in 2005, I should say, when stars Yu Chang-zul and Lee Chun-soo returned to help form a top-notch squad that would win that year's two-leg K-League final against Incheon 6-3 on aggregate. Ulsan would go on to win the Korean League Cup in 2007 and 2011, cementing the club's reputation as a formidable, strong cup side as well. So that is just key information that I wanted to share with you guys as well. So let's move on to, I'm really looking forward to Thiago Silva as well. Chelsea Auntie, big up to you. He was a great Chelsea centre-back, albeit he was on the older side of the squad at that time. So let's move on to the final team in Group F as we try to wind down here as well. So the last team is Mamelodi Sundowns FC, the last team that you also see in that group here in the picture that I'm also sharing on screen. So, of course, this is a South African Premiership side, and they're looking to do their nation and continent proud in the USA. So, Mamelodi Sundowns FC are one of the 4 African side, I should say, heading for the US to take part in the FIFA Club World Cup 2025. So we'll be giving you little key insights as to what they're about and how they qualified as well. So Mamelodi Sundowns will, of course, be in the competition for the first time in almost 10 years by being in this edition of it. And in the inaugural groups formatted phase, it's a good time for them to return as well, because it gives them a more competitive feeling and vibe to the Club World Cup as well. So they'll be playing against Austin HD, as we mentioned earlier, on Tuesday, June 17. The next match is on Saturday, the 21st of June, against Borussia Dortmund. And of course, the final match in the group stage is against Flamengo FC on the 25th of June, which is a Wednesday as well. So they qualified by the CAF ranking pathway. The consistent participation in the CAF Champions League in the 4-year qualifying period, 2020 to 2024, in which they reached the quarterfinals and semifinals twice apiece, ensure they qualified for the tournament that will be played in the USA. So that is one key thing that I wanted to mention there, of course. Now, the club itself is, which came to a surprise to me, it's a team that, a lot of people that I've talked to from, that area of the world, they have respect for. They are, well, they finished at the top of their league, in the PSL league, in first position on 73 points. The second team in that was Orlando Pirates with 61. But of course, the club was founded in 1970, which would make that club around 55 years old. Not sure of the month, but technically I'd say 54 to 55 years old. But that is the situation with them as well. So, as I mentioned before, the South Africans return to the global stage, and they'll be looking to make their nation and the continent proud in the USA, as they hope to really, make a good name for themselves, compete well with the Korea Republic team in Ausland and the Flamengo team from Brazil and Borussia Dortmund. It will be interesting to see what happens, but I believe that Dortmund and I would not be surprised if Flamengo finishes third, but I believe that Dortmund will be topping that league for sure. But that is all for that group. So let's move on to Group G, with Man City, of course, being there. We know them as a European giant. Of course, we have to mention them. We cannot forget about them as well. Then you have Wydad AC, and of course we have Al Ain, which is a Saudi team. So of course, Wydad AC, they are a team that is also from the African Football League as well. They're based in Morocco as well, in Africa. So they will be also looking to make their continent and nation proud, because they of course want to be happy there. But this is an interesting that I want to mention. Cristiano Ronaldo has been an acquisition that, surprising to many, they have made, which means that we'll be seeing Cristiano Ronaldo competing in the Club World Cup as well. That is very interesting to see. I was shocked when I saw the news, but it's very interesting to see that is the case. It's good. We'll be seeing him in the Club World Cup, so we'll be having not only Messi, one of the GOATs, but also Cristiano Ronaldo competing as well. So interesting thing right there. But fair play. That's a good move for them, and it's a good acquisition for them to end up getting as well in Cristiano Ronaldo. But let's discuss Manchester City. Manchester City, of course, English Premier League champions on many occasions. Of course, they're going through transition as well. They've made good signings in Mamouche. Ryan Cherki, of course, they've signed him as well. Of course, they made signings like Kosanov in the winter window. Of course, we know about that. I believe I'm forgetting one player. I don't remember who else it is. Ryan Cherki. Who else did they sign? Chat, if you can remind me of who else they signed during this period, because I believe they signed 2 players. Who else did they sign? Man City signed Ryan Cherki. I know that for a fact. But who else did they sign? Anyways, I'll move on. But yes, Man City, they've gone and they've dug in very early, and they've ensured that they have gotten themselves a team that will give them a good chance of competing at the highest level. So Man City, we know that they would have obviously gotten their qualification after they won the Champions League for the first time in their history, of course, in 2022 against the one and only Inter Milan. So, of course, we know that that is the situation. So they've gotten their qualification through that way, and of course, UEFA rankings would have obviously had them being there as well. So let's move on because we all know about Manchester City. Most of the audience know about Manchester City. We'd want to give the microphone to the teams that are not necessarily known. And there's the one, and I'll start off with the team next in this picture for Group G in Wydad FC, AC, I should say. So, as I said before, they're also a team. They are a Moroccan powerhouse. So, of course, they'll be hoping to get good acclamation from their nation and continent in Africa. So, let's give you a little key information. So, the qualifying as CAF Champions League 2021-22 winners, Rolani Mokwen's winners side are preparing to compete on the world stage where they will be aiming to further Moroccan football's growing reputation to a global audience. Now, we'll give you the key insights. Oh, yeah, right. They've signed Rayon Nori. Man City signed Rayon. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much from Wolves. Thank you very much, Osi Andre. Appreciate it. But yes, Wydad have been drawn into Group G where they will be going head-to-head with Manchester City, winners of the UEFA Champions League in the 2022-23 season by lifting the 2023 and of course European giants Juventus FC, who booked their place via the ranking pathway. So we'll be discussing Juventus as well. So let me give you some key history on them. So their first match will be against Manchester City. It's not going to be an easy match for them, but Manchester City will be their first match, and that will be taking place at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia on the 18th of June, which is a Wednesday as well. The next match is on the 22nd of June on a Sunday against Juventus. And of course, their final match in the group stage will be on Thursday, June 26th against Al Ain FC, which we'll be discussing right after this as well. So more information. So of course, they qualified by, of course, securing qualification through winning a third CAF Champions League title, as I mentioned earlier. So fair play to them, and I'm interested to see what they'll be doing. Hopefully they'll be able to do that. So they were founded and formed in 1937. So it'll be interesting to see what they'll be able to do on this occasion as well. And let's see what the African representations will be doing in this Club World Cup staging. So, of course, the club was specifically founded on May 8, 1937 by 7 people who were led by Mohamed Benjoloni Duomi. As all of its founders were Moroccan, the club earned a nickname Wydad of the Nations. That is a very interesting thing that I wanted to mention. So let's move on to yet another United Arab Emirates team that are in it in Al Ain FC. In FC, I believe that's how it's pronounced. If I butchered it, please forgive me. I'm just a human being. But let us move on to the next team in them. So the Emirati Giants are aiming to impress the world here. So let's see what will take place with them. So they'll be one of the 4 Asian sides competing at the 32-team FIFA Club World Cup, as we are aware. They are the 2023-24 AFC Champions League winners, and they've been having an extremely tough but exciting group stage draw. They'll be facing off against not just one European elite team in Manchester City, but also Juventus, and of course, Moroccan giants we've mentioned before in Wydad AC. So let's move on to giving you the key insights for them. So they'll be playing against Juventus FC on Wednesday, June 18. Then they'll be playing against Manchester City on the 22nd of June, which means that they play against the European giants or the European teams. back-to-back in their fixtures. And of course, they close off their group stage matches with Wydad AC as well. So, of course, they booked their place at the FIFA Club World Cup by winning the AFC Champions League for the 2023-24 season, defeating Yokohama F Marinos 6-3 over a two-legged final. So they were founded in 1968, and of course, their nickname is Al Zaim, the leader, as it translates to in English. So the club was established officially in 1968 in the city of Al Ain, although a group broke away in 1971 to form Ain Tadharmon. The two sides merged together in 1974 under the name Al Ain Sports Club. They competed in the UAE Football League for the first time in the 1975-76 season, going on to win the first of 40 league titles a year after this as well. So that is some key information that I wanted to share with you guys about them. But Juventus is one that is no stranger to most audience here, as we will be aware of the fact that Juventus, obviously, they play in the Italian league. They have great accolades behind the name as well. Of course, we know that Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest players that has graced the football pitch, obviously played for them a few years ago. But we know that, of course, they are one of the other 12 European sides that will participate of the Club World Cup. So let us see what we can say about them here and give you some insight. So the Turin Giants have been handed a fascinating group from their point of view because they have two teams that are massive underdogs. They're not expected to do anything that they'll be competing against as well. Of course, we know that they'll be playing against Al Ain FC on the 18th of June. Then they'll play against Wydad AC on the 22nd, and they close off that with the European Giants that is also in the group on the 26th, which is a Thursday, which is Manchester City as well. So they qualified via the UEFA ranking pathway. Their consistent participation in the UEFA Champions League in a 4-year qualifying period from 2020 to 2024, in which they reached the last 16 twice, ensuring they qualified for the tournament that will be played, of course, in the United States of America. So we know that this club was formed in 1897. The stadium is the Juventus Stadium or the Allianz Stadium. Of course, their nickname is Juve La Vecchia Signora, the old lady, and Bianconeri. I'm butchering that, I am aware, but please forgive me. But of course, we know that they have great accolades. They have a record number of Scudettos, 36, of course. Coppa Italia, 15, and Super Coppa Italiana, 9 titles. So in total, they have 60 domestic trophies. That is massive for a club. They have also been numerous victories outside of Italy that have contributed to their increasing international reputation of the most iconic clubs in the world. Juventus have won 2 European Cup/UEFA Champions League titles, the first in 1984, and the next, of course, took place in 1995-1996, which is around 11 to 12 years later, when they defeated Ajax on penalties. As well as these two successes, Juventus have also won 3 UEFA Cup titles, 1976-77, 1989-90, and 1992-93. A UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, 2 Super Cup trophies, 2 Intercontinental Cup titles, and an Intertoto Cup as well. So from the 2011-12 season through the 2019-20 campaign, Juve had the greatest consecutive streak of Scudetti in Serie A history, with 9 league titles in a row. So we know that that case of them winning it back-to-back or consecutively is a recent occurrence for the last 45 years as well. So that is for Group G, and we get to the final group in this Club World Cup group format, which is the H group in Group H. And of course, Real Madrid is a massive favorite alongside Bayern Munich, and Manchester City has a group entailing also Salzburg as well. So we cannot forget about them, of course. That is very important to remember. And of course, I'm trying not to butcher the name, so I'm trying to see if I can get the pronunciation here quickly. But yes, Real Madrid, we know that they're big favorites for this competition, and they're one of the biggest persons, and they're expected to deliver as well. So they have the likes of Mbappe, they have the likes of Trent, of course, they have the likes of Bellingham, Kamavinga, Germany. Of course, they have tremendous players that are expected there. So you have Ali Hal also there. Then you have Pachuca. I'm butchering it. I apologize. Pachuca is there, then of course Salzburg. So Real Madrid, it goes without saying, they're the most successful team in the UEFA Cup, or the European Cup, I should say. They are, of course, a very massive team on that stage. They've won the record most high in that. And of course, their first match will be against Al Hilal on the 18th of June, which is the Wednesday, of course. The next match is against Pachuca on Sunday, June 22, and the last match is against Salzburg on the Thursday of June 26 as well. So that is the key insight. So we know that, as I said before, they are a giant that stamped their ticket to the inaugural FIFA Club World Cup 2025 by, of course, the glory that they would have had in the 2021-22 season, breaking the hearts of Liverpool that year. Xabi Alonso, who is a legend at Real Madrid, of course, not just at Real Madrid, but Xabi Alonso, he's loved at Real Madrid. He is the new manager, the new coach, as Ancelotti took up the Brazilian job at international level. So he will be having a good opportunity here to win a trophy in the first competition that his Real Madrid team will be taking part in. So, of course, let's see what they'll be able to do. They've, of course, won the Club World Cup prior, but in this format, they're looking to be the inaugural champions, of course. So, of course, they're the hot favorites, as I said, to progress from the group. But they will not take nothing for granted, as Egyptian side Al Hilal are expected to be the second team there that need to be kept an eye on. And of course, we know Salzburg is also a European team, will also be amongst the fold as well. So as I said before, they qualified by stamping their ticket through their Champions League win over Liverpool in 2021-2022 edition of the UEFA Champions League. That triumph was the club's record 14th European Cup/Champions League title and featured unforgettable knockout stage victories against Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, and Manchester City in front of their adoring fans at the Santiago Bernabeu as well. So we know that the club was founded in 1902. Santiago Bernabeu is the name of the stadium. Los Blancos and Los Merengues is their name, the whites, as Los Blancos means the white. And of course, we know that, as I said before, they're tremendous in the La Liga. Domestic leagues and cup titles continue to arrive for them, starting in the mid-late 1950s, I should say, with Alfredo Di Stefano and Paco Gento, 5- and 6-time European Cup winners respectively, the leaders of that first star-studded Real Madrid side. The club won 6 more European titles between 2014 and 2024, with its 17, 2022, and 24 victories especially noteworthy as they featured in La Liga and Champions League doubles. The 3 consecutive titles from 2016-2018 were also undoubted highlights, with Zinedine Zidane at the helm and stars are Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, Toni Kroos, Sergio Ramos, and Luka Modric working their magic on the pitch. Real ended the 2023-24 season with their 15th European title thanks to a 2-0 win over Borussia Dortmund, with goals from Dani Carvajal and Vinicius Jr. getting the job done for them. So, of course, you know that they have massive legends there. They have Alfredo Di Stefano that I've mentioned before, Paco Gento, Raul Gonzalez, Zinedine Zidane, just name a few, Cristiano Ronaldo. You have Pepe. You have many options that you can choose from to mention who the legends are or great players that have played for them as well. So let's move on to Al Hilal, the team that are not the favorites to top the table or the group table, but are also a team that many people have said not to rule out, including the FIFA website that I'm reading these insights from as well. So the Saudi Arabian Giants are targeting that Club World Cup glory as well. So they are one of the Asian most successful and popular clubs who they will play in a group phase, means that they'll be having to do a lot. And I really hope that they'll be able to do great because I want to see one of the dark horses do well against teams like Real Madrid, Pachuca, which is a Mexican team, and of course the Austrian team, Salzburg. So Ali Hal will come up against football royalty in the Club World Cup, having been joined alongside 15-time European champions, Real Madrid. The Saudis will also tackle Mexico's CF Pachuca, who won the 2024 CONCACAF Champions Cup, and FC Salzburg of Austria, who booked their ticket to the USA via the ranking pathway. We'll discuss all the other teams and how they really got their qualification or the ticket to the Club World Cup later on. Let's just give you the history of it. So, Al Hilal, we know that Chelsea faced off against Al Hilal in the semi-finals of the Club World Cup when Chelsea played in it in the 2022 edition. So let's just quickly go down here and see what is being said. So Al Hilal will fly one of 4 Asian flags at the global showpiece by virtue of winning the 2021 AFC Champions League, seeing off Pohang Steelers Korea Republic 2-0 final at the King Fahd Sports City Stadium. Nazir Aidazoli put them ahead in the first minute before Moaza Marenga doubled their advantage midway through the second period. That's how the Saudi heavyweights lift their 4th AFC Champions League trophy to become the tournament's most successful club, a distinction they had previously shared with Urawa Red Diamonds that we of course know are from Korea as well. So they were formed in 1957. The stadium is Kingdom Arena. The nicknames is Blue Wave, the Boss, and the Blue Power. So they owe their existence to Abdul Rahman bin Said, the first president who founded Olympic Club in 1957 before King Saud bin Abdulaziz decided to change the club's name in 1958, choosing Al Hilal from 3 suggestions provided to him as well. So they won the Saudi Pro League title in the inaugural 1976-77 season, and their success has continued ever since, securing a record 80 league titles without ever being relegated from the top flight. That's massive. Having won the 1978-79 league championship under the stewardships of legendary head coach and FIFA Club World Cup winner Mario Zagallo, with the Brazilian icon Rivelino in the ranks, the Blue Wave continued to dominate Saudi football through the 1980s as well. So that is the key information that I really wanted to share with you guys as well. So we, of course, know that they played against Chelsea, as I mentioned before, when they came up against Chelsea as well. Now, in its previous format, with their best finish coming in 2022 when they lost the final to Real Madrid 5-3, it proved a real test for the European Giants in what was a historic encounter. So it was not straightforward match, which is why Al Hilal is a team that many people are saying Real Madrid needs to not underestimate, and I agree with them. So let's quickly move on to the 2 teams that remain there. So Salzburg is one, and of course, as I mentioned before, they have Pachuca from Mexico, who is representing Mexico as well. So let's quickly go on. We're over the 2-hour mark, almost at 2 hours and 15 minutes. Let's go on to CF Pachuca, the Mexican team that has stamped the ticket and has been primed for the global stage as well. So they have had CONCACAF title success when they do battle with great teams on the planet. So they have that going for them. But they will be meeting up against great teams in Real Madrid and Salzburg. So we'll see what happens there as well. So They'll be playing against Salzburg on the 18th of June. The next play against Real Madrid on the 22nd of June. And then on Thursday, June 26th, they'll be playing against Al Hilal as well. So they qualified by beating Columbus Crew 3-0 in the final of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The veteran striker Solomon Rodon netted, I should say, twice in a title showdown with Miguel Rodriguez, also on target for the Mexican Giants as well. So the club was founded in 1892. The stadium is Estadio Hidalgo, and the nickname is the Tozos. So the club history. So they were founded by English miners who was initially known as Pachuca Football Club. It went on to become Pachuca Athletic Club a few years later after merging with Pachuca Cricket Club and Velasco Cricket Club. It is one of the founding teams of the Mexican League in 1902, and it did not take them long to win their first league title, winning the championship in the 1904-05 season as well. A few years later, the mining industry collapsed, and many of their players were forced to move to Mexico City in search of better opportunities. The team remained inactive until 1950, when the Mexican Second Division was created and Pachuca AC was founded. However, the team soon disbanded again, only to be reestablished as Club de Futbol Pachuca in 1960. The Tozos were promoted to the first division shortly afterwards, only to be relegated in 1973 as well. Following 3 playoff final defeats to Irapuato in 1985, Cobras de Querétaro in 1986, and Atalante in 1991, they returned to the top flight in 1991-1992 as well. So very interesting insights there. So let's move on to Salzburg next. But let me know if you guys are enjoying the stream. Let me know what else you want to know as well. So let's move on to Salzburg. But let me know what you guys have to say so far about what I've shared. 2 people watching right now. Let me hear from you guys. Let me give the microphone to you guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this show and what I've shared so far with you guys as well. So I'm going to give you the time to do so. What are your thoughts on the Club World Cup, and who do you see being the champions when the final whistle is blown in July? Let me know what you guys think. I'm really interested to see what the audience has had to say. I have been talking for 30 minutes without end, and I need a little pause. So forgive me, but I just need to take a pause. So what do you guys think about the competition, and who do you guys see winning as well? I'll be waiting. I'll be right back. Bear with me. I'll just be taking a short break. I'll see what you guys will have to say, if anything, after that short break. So bear with me. I'll be right back. All right, so welcome back, guys. So let's move on to Salzburg. So Salzburg is the final group member of Group H, and also the last team we'll be discussing before I give you guys my insight as to who I believe will win and who will be the runners up, and we'll go from there. So how did they qualify, you may ask? So Salzburg secured their spot in the Club World Cup in April 2024 via the UEFA ranking pathway after Bayern Munich knocked Arsenal out of the 2023-24 Champions League in the quarterfinals. That result gave the Austrian club the 12th and final European spot at the Club World Cup. So that's interesting. So if Arsenal did not get defeated, perhaps it could have been Arsenal in this competition. That's interesting. So, and obviously based on their performances in the Champions League over the previous 4 seasons as well, they got that opportunity as well. So facts file for the club. They were founded in 1933 as SV Austria Salzburg. The stadium is the Red Bull Arena, and their nickname is the Red Bulls, or in Austrian, it's Die Roten, meaning the Red Bulls. So the club was founded in 1923, as I mentioned before, as SV Austria Salzburg, and was promoted to the top league in Austria in 1953, I beg your pardon, as well. They had to wait until the 1990s for the first silverware, winning their first league title in 1994 and qualifying for their only European final to date, the UEFA Cup final, in which they fell to Inter Milan. Among FC Salzburg's current haul of trophies are 17 league titles, including 10 in a row between 2014 and 2023, 9 Austrian Cups, and 3 Austrian Super Cups. The club has often acted as a springboard for world-class international players, especially in recent years. Of course, you know about Erling Haaland, Sadio Mane, and Dayot Upamecano are just some of the iconic players who have pulled on the FC Salzburg shirts as well. So, we know that Haaland is an iconic player for them. They have Christoph Gibb, you have Jonathan Soriano, you have Andreas Ulmer, of course, those are options there. So we know that they got that spot via the UEFA ranking. So they got the 12th and last spot from the UEFA Champions League ranking. That is how they got it, the 12th and final spot for the European teams representing Europe, quite simply, for the inaugural UEFA FIFA Club World Cup 2025, I should say. So that is the groups we've discussed. Jerry was here as well. He helped me with 5. I lost connection, as you perhaps would have seen if you were watching from then. But the moment that you guys have been waiting for, and I think it's a good spot as well, almost at the 2 hour 30-minute mark. So let's just quickly go through the favorites and the underdogs as well. So this is a new era for club football, as this inaugural means that this will be taking place every 4 years. And as I said before, the winner will be getting almost $1 billion prize pool. And of course, you'll be getting the acclamation of being called the champions of the world for the next 4 years, similarly to the champions of the world for the FIFA World Cup at international level. So, at country international level, I should say. So, as we know, the format is 32 clubs split into 8 groups of 4. Of course, you know that the European giants that lead the betting odds is Real Madrid. They're the trophy machine that are expected to do it. That's the betting odds. Real Madrid needs no introduction, of course. They're the 15-time Champions League winners and most decorated club in history, are fan favorites. With a squad featuring Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Vinicius Jr., just to name a few, Los Blancos enter the tournament as a balanced blend of experience and flair. Now, having lifted the 15 European crown last summer, the Spanish Giants are aiming for yet another international title. Their squad is said to be buoyed by the close season additions of Dean Huijsen from AFC Bournemouth, and I mentioned Trent earlier, from the Premier League champions Liverpool. Real will also be coached by a new manager, as we mentioned before, with former player Jabi Alonso appointed to replace the outgoing Carlo Ancelotti, who is now a Brazilian manager. The next favorite is Manchester City, who is hungry to bounce back. So Pep Guardiola's Man City might not have repeated last season's domestic and continental glory, but they remain a force to be reckoned with. As the defending Club World Cup champions, they possess the quality to go all the way again. Despite setbacks, they are still considered to be among the top contenders. A deep squad and tactical brilliance remain their calling cards. The goal-scoring firepower of Erling Haaland and Omar Mamouche comprises one of the tournament's best forward lines. Meanwhile, Spanish midfielder Rodri is fit again after having an ACL injury, and the return of 2024 Ballon d'Or winner could be a huge boost to City defensive stability. The third favorite is Bayern Munich, the German juggernauts, as they're called. They continue to be a model of consistency, back on top in the Bundesliga and outside Champions League threat. The Bavarians enter the tournament with high expectations as well. So we know Jerry said that he expects them to win, but they're the third favorite. Not even the first, not the second, but they're the third favorites. Real Madrid and City are ahead of them respectively. So they're led by a mix of veterans, rising stars, and of course they'll be led by their manager, Vincent Kompany, Belgium great, and also Manchester City legend and former player. So Bayern's cohesion, of course, they will have Harry Kane as a razor-sharp marksman. and international level. He bagged 26 goals in 31 Bundesliga appearances in a season that concluded recently. So of course they're going to be favorites there as well. So the dark horses with a point to prove will be Paris Saint-Germain, as they won the Champions League for the first time after a historic final Champions League thrashing of Inter Milan. So the PSG team have moved higher in the echelon of what we can probably call them under the boss of Luis Enrique. With a young team, they will be expected to be a dark horse and to do what needs to be done. So big up to you, FPL Robert Ducky. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe if you are new and share the stream if you haven't already. Thank you very much for tuning in and for liking the stream as well. I'll be right back, guys. I am very dehydrated. I'll be right back again. Be right back. About that, guys. I had a massive dehydration there. I was about to lose consciousness. So I had to get some water to, revive myself. I was not in the best of health a while ago. But yeah, I was saying PSG are they start off dark horses ranking according to the betting odds. And after winning the Champions League, they'll be expected to deliver greatly in this competition as well. So Inter Milan, they have the Italian grit and tactical steel on the new management of Christian Chivu. Will be interested to see what hunger he will bring as well. And of course, we cannot not mention Chelsea as being a dark horse because they have youthful promise. After winning the Conference League, they're expected, according to the betting odds, to go far in this competition. And of course, despite the inconsistencies, they are expected to do well as well. Next, we have Atletico Madrid, who has proven defensive resilience for many seasons under Diego Simeone. With their trademark defensive structure and knockout experience, they're never an easy team to shake off, but it is expected that they'll be able to go far. Will they be able to win it? We'll discuss who I believe will win it and who I believe will be in the last four, and we'll see what happens there. So, their pragmatic style can frustrate and style for more attacking-minded teams, Atletico Madrid that is, and turn matches on their head as well. So you have Flamengo, who's also a dark horse, they have the South American passion according to the betting odds, and they will come in red hot after winning back-to-back Brazilian league titles with a passionate fan base and an equally dynamic attack. They carry the hopes of South America-based side. So of course we can expect the real-based side to do a lot, and they can cause problems for the European giants, so we can't write them off. And of course, the last one is the host wildcard in Inter Miami. So as the tournament host, Inter Miami automatically qualified, but this is no token appearance, with Lionel Messi leading the charge and support from stars like Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets. So basically, it's a Barcelona-driven team, and Jordi Alba. They bring bags of experience and that flair. So Messi's influence alone adds global intrigue to their campaign, and it means that Inter Miami will get a lot of support from Argentinian fans, as they will want to see what Messi will do as well. So I believe that this is who I believe could win in this order. I believe that the final will be between Real Madrid and Manchester City. That's what I believe. Real Madrid and Manchester City. I believe we're going to see that dance one last time in 2025. And I believe that Real Madrid will end up winning. It sounds cliche, but I think Real Madrid will win. But I think Manchester City will make it to the finals, but they will suffer a heartbreak, and fail to win a trophy in 2025 in this bracket of 2025, of course. So, of course, they are the reigning champions in the Club World Cup. So, of course, they'll be wanting to go to the final. But I think Real Madrid will win it. In third place, I believe Bayern Munich will just about lose to Real Madrid. That's what I believe. Um, and then I believe Chelsea will be in fourth. So it's harsh, but that's what I believe. I'm sorry. So Real Madrid is my pick. It sucks. I would love to say Chelsea will win the Club World Cup, but I don't believe it, and I'll be being toxic positive if I say that. So I just don't see it. The furthest I see Chelsea going is perhaps the semi-finals, the quarterfinals, but I'm sticking with fourth option is Chelsea Football Club. So Real Madrid is my first, City is my second, Bayern Munich is my third, and Chelsea is my fourth. Thank you guys think. First to fourth, who's your top options? I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about that. I'm gonna give you the chance to share that with me. So who do you think will win the Club World Cup? I'm very much intrigued to see what you guys think and who you are expecting to deliver there. Very interested to see what you guys have to say. So I'll be waiting. I'll just see what you guys have to say, if anything, about who you would expect to deliver the goods as well. Very much excited. All right, no responses yet. But I'll give you guys a few more seconds. If not, then I'll just move on to the next era that I had in mind for the show. Something. So I'm see if I can, get some people on for the last few minutes that I have to give their thoughts as well. So be with me, guys. Who do you believe will win the Club World Cup? I'm very much interested to see who you guys expect to deliver the goods. Very much interested to see what you guys have to say. Right, so there's no responses, unfortunately. That's unfortunate, but we move. I was really hoping that some persons would be able to give their thoughts, share with me who they expect to win, but no responses. So we move. Let me see if I can get some people to join me for the last few minutes here. If not, then I think I can call it a day. We've discussed a lot and it's been a very long stream. But just for the sake of just giving and policing the stream, just allow some people to give their thoughts as well. So no responses just yet, but we move. Let's see what can happen here. One more time, I'm gonna remind you guys to please drop a like on the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. You might think this was getting very, very sad. Thank you very much, Chelsea Auntie. You're always there to help me when I need it most. I was starting to lose hope that I'm just talking to myself. But thank you very much for leaving a comment. So this is what you're saying. So I would say Chelsea tie. Call it poisonous optimism, but here we go. Chelsea to win it. I love the way that they start so far. I have said it. Meet you here afterwards, but seriously, Real Madrid is the outright favorite for me. 100%. They're the outright favorite. Definitely, they're the outright favorites. There's no ifs or buts about it. They are definitely the outright favorites. So, of course, I'm not going to be crazy and pretend as if I'm not aware of that. It is definitely the case. They are the outright favorites, 100%. I agree with you. 10,000% agree with you. But thank you very much for being the only person of the three people watching to leave a comment telling me who they believe will win. I'm going to give the last two people that are in the chance to tell me before they go. But let's see. Still trying to get the link out there to try to get people to join me. To no avail, but I'm not going to lose courage there. I'm going to still try to send the link out to a few people that I think could be available. If not, then as I said, I'll just call it a day. But yeah, so we've discussed a lot. I've given you a brief history on each team that I know about. So let's see what else I can do here. Just send out the link as I said before to see if anybody else is available to give their 2 cents before I called it a day. So let's see. Right. Okay, so somebody said they'll be joining. So I'll just, in the meantime, as I said before, I just want to remind anybody that's joining know that my top 4 picks for the winner of the Club World Cup in this order, exact order, is Real Madrid, Manchester City. I forgot who I put for third. Who did I put for third? Bayern Munich. Oh my goodness, and Chelsea. That was I had a senior moment, and I'm not even a senior, like that. But yeah, that's my top 4 picks for who I believe will. Big up to you, Joseph. Who do you think? Who do you think will win the Club World Cup? Let me know who you think will win the Club World Cup. Are you going to say Chelsea? Who do you think are the favorites? Do you agree with the betting odds? Do you agree with Chelsea Auntie that Real Madrid are the favorites? And me, do you believe that is the case? Let me know. Want some interaction with the chat? I've been speaking for over an hour. So I'm giving you the chance. This is the time where you get the microphone and you get to give your thoughts. Leave the senior moments to me, Ty. Yeah. Yeah, man. I literally forgot my top 4 options and it came back to me right after that. So, yeah. So 2 people said they'll be joining me. So let's see how quickly they join. But Joseph, who do you believe will be winning? All right. So Joseph says he thinks it's between PSG and Real Madrid. Interesting. I didn't even put PSG there. PSG would be my 5th option after Chelsea. To win the conference league. Whoa, why would I make such a mistake? You see, I'm getting. I think I'm probably sleep deprived. Not conference league, the Club World Cup. Oh my word! I don't know why I said conference league, but yeah, there are my 5th choice. 5 people watching now, please let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Who do you think will win the Club World Cup? We've discussed all clubs from Group A to Group H. Who do you believe will be the dark horse, the favorites, and who you expect to win, and who you believe will be in the final as well? Let me know what you guys think. That is the challenge I'm posing to you guys right now. So you're not just listening to me or looking at me talk. This is your chance to give your 2 cents, give your thoughts, have the freedom to express your thoughts. And I'm not going to say you're talking garbage. I won't do that. I'm objective. I'm a fair person. I'm unbiased. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you believe will win the I keep saying Conference League. Oh my goodness, the Club World Cup. All right, so still waiting on the two people that said they'll be joining me on the panel. Let's see if they will indeed join me or if something came up at the last minute. Let's see. Oh, if I okay, sure. I'll send the link to you on Instagram because I don't have any other way and I don't really like to share the link in the chat because I had a massive situation happen to me a few years ago, and it still traumatizing me to this day. So yeah, I have no problem with you coming on. Definitely, surely, I would love to have you on. You've been on the channel before, but not on this level. You've been only on a recording, and I owe you that favor as well of coming on your channel. So I send a link to you on Instagram. I send it to your Yusuf Instagram account. If anything, I'll send it to the Chelsea Blues one if necessary. But still waiting for the two people that said that they would join me on the panel. Haven't seen anything from them, but I'll give you the chance to go on Instagram and check for the link that I've sent to you as well. Once more, I'm inviting you guys to please drop a like on the stream, push the stream even further as we try to get the channel to grow to higher and higher heights. And once more, I'm going to invite you, Yusuf, you're here. Please go over to Chelsea Auntie's channel and do subscribe to her channel. She deserves way more subscribers than she has. She's at, let me see how much she's at. I think the last time I checked, she was at 36. I don't want to tell a lie. I'm going to go back to the channel and see what is at. But please do drop a like on the stream and do go and subscribe to Chelsea Auntie. She's at 53. Wonderful. So the last time I 30 something, no, she's at 53. She's 7 shy of that 60 subscribers that she was asking for in 60 days. She didn't get in 60 days, but nonetheless, it's the channel is growing slowly but surely. So please do go over to her channel and do subscribe to her. 6 people watching right now. I'm sure if you haven't subscribed, well, Chelsea Auntie, I'm assuming is one of those 6 people. So the 5 additional people, go over to her channel quickly, subscribe, and you can return back here and we can continue to discuss what we were discussing before. But go subscribe to her channel. She deserves it. Definitely, she deserves it. All right, so waiting to see if Yosef will join anytime soon, and the 2 additional people that told me that they would try to join me as well. So I'm hoping that we will have a good end result here for the options that I have mentioned. And I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. And if you have any suggestions as to how I can stream better, let me know what those suggestions are. I'm always open to new ideas, new suggestions as we try to grow and be a better news outlet, a good information outlet for all there. So let's see what will happen there. Okay, I'll do that. Um, hmm. I don't know if I have your email though. Send it to me on Instagram. I don't want you to share your email here. Just send it on to me on Instagram. I have Instagram open, so send it to me there, and I'll just quickly do it. All right, cool. Okay, so All right, so copy. So for the 4 people watching, two that's minus Joseph and Chelsea Auntie. The 2 other people watching, who do you expect to win the Club World Cup? Let me know. I'm still looking for your interaction. Kindly do let me know who you expect to win the Club World Cup. Just sending the link to Joseph so he can join. All right, so I'm going to take another short break. I'll be right back, guys, as I try to sort this out. All right. So I've sent a link to Joseph now. Still haven't heard anything from the 2 persons that said that they'll be joining me. But we move. We move. Let's see what will happen here. Let's see if they will indeed join me before I end the stream. Let's see. One more time, I'm urging you guys to let me know who you believe will win the Club World Cup. I think it will be the last time I'm asking. If nobody else responds, gives a response, I should say. I don't know what's wrong with my English right now. Then wait for you. Whatever is after that, I'll just call the stream right then and there. Is this Joseph? I'm not seeing anybody. Somebody is here, but I can't see anything. Who's this? Okay, it's Joseph. All right, big up to Joseph. How are you doing?
Hello there. How are you?
I'm here. I'm just trying to push through all of the obstacles that I have presented today.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I don't know how much of the show you caught, but I went through all the groups from group A to group H, from club 1 to club 32. So who are the dark horses in your opinion? I know you mentioned who you believe is between to win it, but what's your thoughts about the competition, and do you like the format? Do you think it makes sense?
I'll be honest. I didn't catch the whole show, so I don't really know like the format. But like from what I can see, is obviously like I've already mentioned about PSG and Real Madrid, obviously. But my dark horses, I'd say for this competition would be actually Atletico Madrid.
Fair enough.
It's between them and Bayern Munich. I just remembered them as well.
That's fair. That's fair. And I mean, they are one of the favorites, Bayern Munich, as well. Not the outright favorites, but definitely one of the favorites, alongside Man City at this present stage. So, yeah, I get it. I get that. And with the way that Atletico Madrid play, I can understand why you'd put them as the dark horse, or one of the dark horses that is gonna perhaps be there. Yeah. So, what do you know about the teams that are in our group, if anything?
I'll be honest, I don't really know that much about the teams that we're playing. I mean, LAFC, I know Olivier Giroud is there. That's all I know, really, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, fair enough. I mean, I was using the club website to really get some of the insight on, like the like Estoniz and well, Flamengo. I reached out to a Brazilian friend of mine who supports Flamengo, and he obviously told me about Palmeiras and the rivalry between them and Flamengo. So of course I know that. But yeah, I mean, I think that, and the unfortunate thing, because it's not like the league is new. It's the Brazilian league is not new. It's existed long even before the English league. So it's not a case where that's it's something that we shouldn't know about. It's just that the publicity isn't there, or we don't really have the time to really look at it. So I'll watch a few Brazilian matches or Brazilian league matches here and there with Palmeiras, and maybe I'll see Flamengo and all of that. But realistically, I don't really watch it because, of course, the time difference and everything's not really gonna give me the chance to really sit down and watch it. Like a Chelsea match or a La Liga match or a Italian match or Bundesliga match. So of course, that is situation. But yeah, fair enough. So what do you think about the chances of Dortmund in this competition? Do you see them get eliminated early?
I think they'll get out their group. That they will go through, but yeah. Well, it depends who they get. Obviously, well, realistically, we could say the same for Chelsea. Yeah, we're obviously we should get out of our group. We should get through to the round of 16, but it depends who we play in that round of 16 fixture. Because if we play like a PSG or a Bayern Munich, we're losing. Let's be honest here. Come on.
Oh my goodness, I feel obliged to agree with you.
I mean, you never know what could happen.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm. Oh, but I want that though. Not so that I don't want the team eliminated. I want to see us actually play against a serious team, because that's one thing we actually need to see. A fully strength team. I want to see that challenge for Chelsea, because we can't say that this is a project and we need the fans to get behind it. Don't with the Conference League triumph, of course, we know that we know that Chelsea were the favorites from the beginning. From the competition even started, we were the favorites. And the first match that we actually had, where it was really a tough match, was in the knockout season. That was Copenhagen was one of them. League saw was really a scare when they defeated us 2-1. So of course,
I was there for that as well.
Those matches, right? So you'd have seen first time actually compete. Liverpool, don't play in the fact that we defeated Liverpool, but realistically at that time the league was already won. They had played some of the key players. I believe that if some of those key players had started the match rather than coming off the bench, the match wouldn't have been that straightforward. But that was actually what we. So of course, we can't pretend as if we played off against a very well rehearsed Liverpool team at the strongest level. So I want to see what we can do when we face off against teams with a high team squad. If it's Bayern Munich, if it's Real Madrid, I want to see that challenge, because based on what Maresca told the haters or the individuals that were saying, oh, this and that, I want to see what he has to say. Then, because he said, and I don't want this stream to be demonetized. It's not the curse word. I think I'm having some connection issues, but what I'm saying is that he said I proved that he is wrong as which is possible. There's or the runners up of Group B. I don't remember what it is. I have to look it up. But I think that's the situation.
Yeah, I mean, from what I saw of Maresca's comments, I mean, he's right. Like, let's be honest, he has proved us all wrong. Like, we never thought that we'd finish in the Champions League places after that Ipswich draw. Let's be honest with ourselves. We thought Champions League was done. I remember I was at that Ipswich game. I did a fan cam straight after it, and my what's it called? I did a fan cam, and my title was Champions League is a myth now. But then we go and do it because of the teams around us dropping points and us winning our games that we need to win. So you can only give Maresca praise for that, but you just can't ignore that bad run of form that we were on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was wrong too. I was wrong because I said we were going to get Champions League or top four, and we got not just Champions League but actual top four. So fair play. But the truth is, I don't want to say we were lucky, but that is literally what happened because nobody could have expected that we would have faced off against Liverpool after they won. Well, Liverpool were expected to win the league from January, February, but nobody would have expected them to rotate that massively because it made no sense to me that they rotated that way because they had no. It was like they were playing the Champions League. They weren't doing anything. It doesn't make sense to me, but they did. I guess the celebration led to that. So that's one thing. Then you also have the match against Man United. Everybody expected us to really win that match. It was a very close affair, very dull match, very dull match.
I was there. I was there. I know what it was like. I was there in the Matthew Harding stand, and trust me, all the fans around me, they couldn't believe what they were seeing in the first half.
Yeah, Kukurea and G.C. James linking up, and then Kukurea scores. Dull match. Newcastle, we lost that match. I expected us to prediction, right? Fulham, Ipswich, could have gone anyway. The Fulham match particularly could have gone anyway. And I've said this: if it wasn't for Tyreek George coming on that pitch, I think we're losing that match. 100%. I think we're losing that match. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely on that level, it wasn't the easiest thing, and I never expected it, but we did. So fair enough. So I want to just shout out Yosef's channel. I know you changed the name of the channel. What is it? Yosef Chelsea Blues.
Yeah, I've got it right here. That's my name here. That's right.
Okay, so Yosef Chelsea Blues. You can subscribe to his channel. That's the link. I can't pin it from here, but this is it up on screen. You can always see watching right now. You can go over there and you can subscribe to his channel, help him to get even further because he deserves it as well. So, and he's been doing a lot of work. I've been looking at his shorts; they're getting a lot of views. So that's very good. You'll get there slowly but surely it's happening. But
I will want to say there is possibly a double upload coming today.
I like that terminology, double upload.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think this is a good place. Every time I do a stream, this always happens. Whenever I'm about to end the stream, more people start to come in. I don't know why. It's like they're sensing that I'm going to be ending the stream. Because it was at one point it was 10 people watching. Now it's at 5. But I mean, I've been going for 3 hours now. I'm absolutely drained. So I thank you guys. Thank you to you, Joseph, for coming on my last minute. Chelsea Auntie was here. Thank you to Jerry, who was also here. The Club World Cup, or the World Cup dreamer, he called himself. FPL Rubber Ducky was also here. Huddersfield Fan TV was here as well. Puggy, who donated to the channel, gave away 2 memberships. I think Lord Mode Football got 1, and then Strip Beer, rest in peace to her. It's gonna be kind of unfortunate because she's no longer with us, but she's been gifted the membership, so at least she's a part of the channel still. Unfortunately she didn't get the chance to be a part of the channel and to see it grow the way that she wanted it to. But we remember her. But yeah, rest in peace to her once more. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm sure that many other people see this as the Club World Cup takes place as well. Chelsea Auntie saying, thank you, enjoy this loads of good info, nice research as always. Thank you very much, Chelsea Auntie. Once more, guys, I'm inviting you guys to not just subscribe to Yosef's channel, but also to subscribe to Chelsea Auntie. She's very close to getting the 60 subscribers. She's 7 away. If let me go back and check if that's still the case. Last time I checked, she was at 53. So I'm inviting you guys to go and subscribe to Chelsea Auntie, and of course, subscribe to Yosef's channel as well. Let me see. How many subscribers are you at, Yosef?
Oh, I'm at 228.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. So you're getting this slowly but surely, man. But yeah, so for the few people watching here, if you haven't already, and if you're not aware of who Yosef is, go over to his channel. Great content. He's been doing a lot of streams. He's been doing a lot of shorts about the transfer news and all of that. So go subscribe and help him to grow even further. And thank you. This is the second time you've been on the channel. The first time you've been on the channel live. Of course, that video that I did with you, it's a members only stream or recording, I should say. So only members will be able to see it. But of course, I may release that as a public video so all people can see it in the future as a retro video. But thank you once more for joining, Joseph. Thank you to Jerry once more, who was here. And thank you, Chelsea Auntie, for always showing support whenever you can. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your channel grow even further. You and Joseph as well. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace and up the Chelsea. Any last words, Joseph?
Up the Chelsea.
Love it.
Up the Chelsea, mate.
Perfect.
From Kingston to stateside, we unify. Well, for giants in the fold, 12 titans bold. Chelsea and City, red of reals gold. PSG, Bayern, Inter, the Serie A calls. Porto, Benfica, Salzburg joins the spree. European champion chasing victory. It's a worldwide clash, one dream tonight. 32 clubs neath the stadium lights. From Copa to Champions, MLS to Jam League, we roar as one. Come on, let's wreck to me. Chelsea's heart, Blues unite. Club World. 6 South American crews. Pride runs deep. Palmeiras roars. Flamingo never sleeps. Fluminense, Botafogo by the riverside. River Plate, Boca, historic ride. CONCACAF Heat, Monterrey and Seattle rise. Pachuca, LFC, watch the Eagles cries. Host Inter Miami, bringing Messi's grace. South Florida magic on global chase. 4AFC, powerhouses, Desert City, Seoul, Japan. Al Hilal, Urawa, Al Ain Ulsan's clan. Africa's finest stride on gold-dusted sands. Al Ali, wide down Esper and sundown stand. One island in the sea, Auckland's pride. From Oceania waves, a Pacific stride. 32 flags, one stadium glow. From group stage fire to the final show, it's a